Hey, what's going on? Good Saturday morning, everybody. I having some technical issues this morning. I was unable to I have two monitors, and the one just decided didn't want to work. So, kind of working off a different setup. Don't mind my mess. My kids and I are playback here all the time. So, uh, good Saturday morning. It's what is it? March 11th, 2023. And man, I'll tell you what, it's never freaking boring in crypto at all. I guess it's like in a way maybe we've all felt like the other shoe was going to drop or something, but the worst wasn't over. So we'll see where we are. I mean, it's been a dramatic few days. I think just on Wednesday we were, I had my Twitter Spaces on Wednesday night, and we just were talking about ordinals and all the activity going on Litecoin. There was a little bit of kind of a step back at that point, but then the last 2 days it's gotten way worse. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to take it all. I've tried to have this attitude that it ultimately doesn't matter, right? At some point in time, we're gonna have to face these banks failing and the crypto sphere being, I don't know, rejected or demonized or made out to be the bad guy. I think like that's going to be something we have to get used to. The FUD will never go away. So I don't know. I'm not sure how to take it right now. I'm hopeful. Like, in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about. So USDC yesterday, let me pull up. Oh yeah, see, this is gonna be hard working on one monitor. So let me try, because I normally have this all pulled up on another one at the same time. So let me see if I can share and this will actually work. I had some bookmarks up, but essentially, well, here we go. I'll just bring up the chart. How about that? Makes sense. So what happened is yesterday, a bank, Silicon Valley Bank, failed, and they were one of the, I guess, Silvergate Bank, which failed like 2 weeks or last week, and Silicon Valley Bank were two of the 5 or 6 banks that USDC or Circle, who runs USDC, used to back their crypto, their stable coin. And so, just last night, let me pull this up. USDC went from I don't know, $1 like it's supposed to be here. All right, let me share this. I'm supposed to have a couple people coming in. Sorry, I jumped right into it today because I've just been flustered, but let's see if I can share. It's the same. Okay, you should be seeing that. So yeah, you can see last night at about 11:30, it started to depeg. I was actually on a Twitter Spaces with Clint Westwood, and we were all just kind of talking about kind of how shocking it is. So it dropped to 88 cents. And what Coinbase announced, they said, look, in light of all this stuff going on with our banking issues, we don't want to redeem any. You probably can't see me. Yeah, you can. We don't want to redeem any USDC. So essentially, they halted they froze trading on USDC. So you couldn't just turn it into USD. Like if you want to just get it and put it in your bank, they're not allowing that until Monday, until normal banking hours, which is just so ironic in crypto. And same thing with Tether, right? So what happened is actually Tether for a short time last night went up to over $1 because people, where they had the opportunity to. So, Coinbase decides they're going to freeze trading, and they, if you're on Binance, you're instantly going to switch, right? Or wherever else there could be. If you had the opportunity to get out of USDC, you should. And if you hold USDC right now and you're able in some way, like maybe you have it, I've heard there are some DeFi exchanges that are pegged to, I think it's Maker. I'm just posting about it. So people are basically going in, but that might already be gone because this gets confusing. Maker pegged USDC to DAI, so people were taking the USDC, pouring it into Maker to make this switch. So it was almost just like the gold reserve back in the day. The people were trusting, the exchanges were trusting USDC enough that they were pegging not to the dollar. They were pegging to USDC. So that caused DAI to also go down. So DAI, I think, was down. Hang on, I got somebody coming in too. I'm juggling all sorts of things here. Simon, hang on. So let's look at last night. This is 11:30, and you can see that Tether. Actually, before that, Tether, there must have been enough FUD. People were switching over, and then as soon as that ability stopped, basically once that trading halted, there was nowhere to go back, and it stabilized again. So Tether's down. Or I'm sorry, Tether's back to the normal at $1. Binance is at $1. That's a whole nother another ball of wax. USDC at 91 cents. I don't know if you guys can see this well or not. So DAI dropped. DAI's down at 93.5, and I think USDD was another one I heard. But that's always had issues. That's one that's on Tron. True USD is okay. I think that's a Abra thing. But hey, so I got a couple people coming in. Litecoin Chief is supposed to be here later. And this guy, honestly, I don't even know. I was in a Twitter Spaces for, I don't know. Pull up, right? I don't even know when it was. I feel like it was a couple weeks ago. And it was a Bitcoin space, I guess. And we were just kind of talking. And there were some Bitcoiners that I felt like were a little bit kind of naive to the whole what's coming to crypto, like what we're seeing right now. And I don't know. I thought Simon just was crushing it, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta have this dude on." And you're a Litecoin. I mean, I don't even think I knew you were a Litecoin. I was like, "Oh, because it's hard to find people that understand the enormity of what crypto is. It's such a threat to so many different entities, and it's not gonna be a pretty ride, right? In the short, perfect world, maybe it's a slow, peaceful revolution, but you never know, right?
No, yeah, that's it's funny because when I first got into this, and can you hear me okay? Is it sound okay?
Turn it up a little bit. And actually, before you do that, I don't know much about you. So you have your own channel, right? Can you use a little bit about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Simon. My channel is Cryptechology on YouTube, and I also hold a small educational group, Web3 MCT. Before I got into this, I was teaching over at Earn Your Leisure University. I was the vice president of their crypto club. And I got into the blockchain space through mining. Before I got into DeFi, yield farm, all when you degen into this space. I came in as a miner, and I turned my town into an IoT smart hub. The Helium blockchain allowed me to do that, and to create a decentralized wireless network in my town. And we were just using temperature, humidity sensors, and window door sensors. And we were using LoRaWAN technology to help people generate small passive income by building out this decentralized wireless network. And through that, and through mining, I end up gaining a different perspective on this technology and the opportunity within the space. A lot of people came into this space through NFTs, through trading, through extracting. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love it. I think it's great. And it merges two different worlds. But at the same time, it created this momentum of extraction, and there was a lot less attention on creativity and innovation and growth. And being in the early stages of new technology and emergent tech, when you come to this space and looking to extract immediately, that's where we can run into a lot of downturn and uncertainty and doubt and fear. Because people see it as a threat and not as an opportunity, because they're looking to extract. So that was my goal, trying to figure out how can we change that narrative. And having this conversation with you and talking on Twitter, on YouTube, and managing my mining company, That's, just small steps towards just figuring out how we can all do this, and
I think
not
it's a good,
repeat history.
yeah, no, it's a good word for it because I was actually just like venting. I don't know if you know, I've been on his show. I think he was on mine. Joel Valenzuela. He's lived on crypto for I think 7, 8 years now,
Hmm.
and I was just messaging yesterday like, how do we? It's just so frustrating to change this mentality, and I think that word extraction is a good way of viewing it. People, they want to get in and get out, right? And the times they're excited for crypto is when it's going on the way up because they're like, oh, I just want to buy it and like in a week sell it and be rich, right? They don't want to actually touch it or learn it. And so I think that's always been a frustration of mine is because even the biggest voices, the most prominent voices are the guys that pump the price all the time. Like
Hmm.
we're in this downturn and everyone's just like, oh, buy the dip. It's like this constant US dollar based conversation as opposed to like trying to get people to understand that it's a fundamentally different change in money, right? And like it should be changing our mindset to be longer term. But ironically, the people who become most prominent are the ones who are short term thinkers,
Hmm.
you know? And I don't know if it's
I
just
mean,
because it's not exciting. I mean, people don't get sold on like, hey, get rich in 20 years, right? No one
well,
wants to hear that.
that's hard. I mean, that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, especially, I'm 37. I went down the route, did college, I got my master's degree. I did check the box, right? I'm
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
get a job because I got a piece of paper now, right? And a career, white picket fence, and a nice family and a home to retire in, right? That was the narrative that was pushed to a lot of us, and we spent 20 years, 30 years doing that
Mhm.
to 2008 for a lot of us that came into a world that was like, we're not ready for you. We don't have jobs available for you. I remember going to interviews, with competing with guys on a help desk position in IT with a master's and 20 years experience. And I'm just like, why are we both applying for this same job?
Yeah.
So, that was tough. So, I don't blame anybody that's a little bit reluctant to say, huh, let me wait to invest for another 20 years again for the outcome.
Right.
That's hard, right? Because we did that before and it didn't work out for a lot of people. So to expect people to just all of a sudden be like, yeah, I'm gun ho to do that again, it's gonna be tough. So
That's true. Yeah.
so there's nothing wrong with celebrating small wins, and I think that's extremely important. And you can celebrate small wins through mining, through using the technology, through DeFi, right? Through understanding that this is about financial responsibility. That's what crypto and blockchain is about. It's about
You
gaining
just
and
scared
taking
everybody
ownership.
away. Financial responsibility. No one wants to hear that. You thought my
I
pitch
know,
was
right?
bad. I want to
I was
just spend like
terrible with
20.
money.
Yeah,
I
right.
was terrible with money. I wish I was responsible with money. I got out of college with too much debt and credit cards. Yeah, I ended up using my credit cards and realizing the damage I did to myself after the
Yeah,
fact.
yep.
But that's what blockchain did for me. I mean, it woke me up and it was just like, dude, you gotta get your finances in order. You gotta you have to figure out what this money game is all about and how you can, create success out of it. And I don't just mean by like financial monumentous gains.
Yep.
I'm talking about, creating that lifestyle where you have ownership over your time, and you're happy with your day to day. And if you can create and innovate and collaborate with people on a global stage at the same time, that's just like a plus part to me.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. I want to ask you about this decentralized wireless thing. I want to bring Chief in. Chief's been, I don't know, Chief. Maybe you're slowly going to become my co-host, right?
Good
My
morning.
whole
Good
my
morning.
whole plan of this is slowly like I was like I'd like to have a group that shows up every week, because I it gets a little boring to talk all by yourself all the time, and I'd rather have conversation and just preach to people. So who knows? Maybe building a team here, Chief. But yeah, so Simon, what's decentralized wireless network? That's interesting to me because we've been talking about these mesh networks a little bit that aren't necessarily Wi-Fi, maybe, but
Hmm.
maybe they are. I don't know. You tell me. You sound like you know more than I do.
So, So for the LoRaWAN network that we created and that we're using for IoT, Internet of Things, right? We're just using the 915 open.
Uh-oh. Well, he froze up on us.
Yeah,
Ironically.
I think I lost him.
You froze, Simon. But when you come back, you gotta dumb it down a little bit. Because I don't know. I already don't know what you were talking about. You froze.
Okay, so let me go back
Yeah,
again a
start
little bit
back
more.
over like you didn't say
Okay.
anything. You froze, right?
All right. So LoRaWAN technology, there's a long range wireless network, right? There's a frequency band um, that's called 915 in the US, and
Okay.
you can send transactions back and forth to it, peer to peer. Okay. So, for example, if you wanted to know when your door opened inside of your home or inside of your office, right? You
Right.
can do that in a few different ways. You can do that with wireless, literally with your Wi-Fi network. You can do it with Bluetooth, or now you can also do it with IoT with LoRaWAN. Now, so you say, well, what's the difference? Why would I want to use something else besides Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, right? Well, those things has an IP address and can be tracked and and controlled by someone else on the outside. So you can have a device that says, "Oh, well, if it has an IP address, then I can look at it and see what it does, right?" And then you can see that that product is also what's the word I'm looking for? It is kind of it connected with your personal identifiable information, your PII. So with LoRaWAN and IoT, those sensors, they just all you see is on and off. So I don't know that it's your door, right? I don't know that it belongs to you, but I know that a sensor on this decentralized network, all right, turned on and off, all right. If it's on like so everyone has like the what is it the doorbell cameras through
Right.
like
Yeah.
Amazon and all of that stuff like that. So all of those devices, if people really wanted to, they can access your camera. They can control it. They can see it. They can control all of your sensors inside of your homes, your light switches, all of those devices that we use to work with Alexa and all that stuff. That can be
Mhm.
controlled by anybody that has some technical skill sets. So that was another reason why IoT kind of was created and that small community was there as well. So, but it never grew past the hobbyist level. It never grew past all of us IT geeks, right? So we're like, how can we create something of value out of this? So to compete with Verizon and the T-Mobiles and AT&Ts of the world, the long goal of decentralized wireless is to allow anyone the ability to participate in this technology. So the way that Helium started this with the Helium blockchain was through hardware mining and the hotspots. So these hotspots, basically a Raspberry Pi, would communicate with each other. So it would say you would have a hotspot, I would have one, and say Chief would have one. So if they would just talk to each other through the 915 open frequency band and say, "Hey, you exist? Okay, I know you exist because I'm here. Oh, you can verify I exist because you're there." So these
Okay.
devices will communicate back and forth, and during that communication, the owner gets rewarded. So you would get rewarded for helping to build out this IoT network. Now you say, well, all right, I built out this network. So what, right? What happens next? Well, that's the cool part. So now all the parents in my neighborhood, um, anyone that may be nervous about where their children are playing in the neighborhood, they can put a little sensor on, on their kids' book bags when they're going to school or playing around in the town, right? And you can see this, and it's free. You don't have to pay. And at the same time, it's not an iPhone that says who it is. And only the person that owns the sensor will know who and where it belongs to.
So that
So
way you
whereas
run your own, like if you run your own node, or we'll call them, right,
Mhm.
this Raspberry Pi, you can kind of monitor your own devices without anybody from the outside having to know like they'll also be able to see these things, but they won't know it's yours. They won't know the connection to you.
Exactly. And that was eye-opening for me because sometimes that didn't, I have young children. I don't want them on an iPhone, on a smartphone right now. As much as I am into tech, I'm sorry, I don't. They don't need it right now at this moment.
Right, yeah.
But I still want to know certain things. Another thing that's been using this technology are scooter companies. They've been popping up like crazy, and they hire people to go pick up the scooters when people don't drop them back where they're supposed to be. Well, how do you keep track of those scooters? All right. How do you know where they're located? You can put these sensors and use this IoT network for that. For farmers that want to know the temperature or the soil levels in their farm, further out, these devices are being used for things like that as well. So, this network couldn't have been created without blockchain technology. And just someone like myself couldn't have.
So is there like a cost if I'm, because I'm assuming because I've heard of helium, I don't know a lot about it. So the helium token was, to incentivize setting up nodes. Is there also is there an extraction for each relay you do, or is it at some points it's so much it stabilizes? Like what's the benefit of the token now that it's launched, or is it just continually paying to new people?
No, that's a great question. So the token pertaining to it was to help for funding, and then also to help to pay for the transactions on the public ledger. So every time a sensor communicates, right, there's going to be a transaction cost to that, and that's also what the data credits are for. So the helium token was created initially at this time to help generate, raise capital, and then at the same time to help pay for the data credits for all of the transactions happening on this public ledger on the blockchain, which is now they're going to Solana, and there's some old other stuff with the network, and some things I'm not happy with, how they went about it. But that is, I don't want all that nonsense to take away from the benefits of the technology. Kind of like in blockchain and crypto right now, we're seeing, with the banks and with everything else going on. It's like all this FUD, SBF, and all this nonsense that's been going on. It's taken away from the actual technology of all of this and how it's creating opportunity for people that maybe didn't have a second chance in the capitalistic society that was there.
Right. No, it's interesting. I mean, the funny thing about a lot of coins, what I try to deter from this maximalist idea that, proof of work was the one and only way. And again, it's immaculate conception and all this shit. Because the reality is there are some services out there that I think crypto can be kind of like a Kickstarter program, and incentivize some marketing, incentivize people to develop things and, rightfully be rewarded for your work. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Unfortunately, there are a gazillion fucking scams. So there's no way for the average person to differentiate between what's real, because the biggest scams look the most beautiful, you know what I mean? Yeah, and they've got the biggest names behind them. And it's like this massive venture capital funding machine that you can't compete with when you're launching mine from your own computer. Like you said, you're going to get a handful of tech nerds that get involved, nobody with any influence or money to actually make it shine. Right. And so, it would be nice to have kind of a vetting process. That's the hard part.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah. That's a great, we were actually battling with that heavy when we were all, growing the Helium decentralized network and just talking about decentralization in general. And it's should there be a vetting process, right? Is that even truly even possible? Or is it, or are we then repeating what we were moving away from and recreating in a new space?
Because we've been talking about this a little bit. We've been doing these bounties. I shouldn't say we. Indigo, I don't know if I'm sure you've become aware of him in the last couple of weeks when it was creating the bounties for all this stuff going on with Litecoin. And Chief, you've been contributing as well, and
I contribute a little. It's not as much as the other guys.
No, but we had a conversation on Wednesday night about there's this entity that we're going to try to create something like it. So Monero has this group. I don't even know what they call it, right? It's a DAO that's focused on development with Monero, and there's kind of an organization to go through to vet, like, what are the proposals for different bounties we might want to create, or what are some goals we think are like good and effective uses of money. And then you kind of communicate from an official place, like, hey, we think this is good. And then some sort of vetting process, people that'll actually look at the code and, make sure whatever somebody builds is actually something you can put your stamp of approval on. Yeah, because I agree with you. Like, we get this like weird feeling in crypto, like, that sounds like there's a lot of trust involved, or, what a guy I'm gonna listen to a guy in a suit all of a sudden, right? But like, that's the reality. I think he froze again. But, we are still humans, and I think trust is still an important part of, life. It's reality, right? You can't live in a purely trustless world because we're working with other humans. So, I think if the government, again, I hate, I'm not a big government fan, but if the government, instead of just regulation, just had a board that was like guidance on these coins and would like vet them thoroughly, right? Who's the leadership? Where is it based? What do we know about it? Right? Even though they would have a slant, they would do more good to prevent people from falling for scams, like the real bad scams, right? The total rugs and pump and dumps, than any regulation they're going to bring. You know what I mean?
So there are a few ways that, I'm sorry, I have to let my dog out. There are a few ways that can be done right now, and that is being done in smart contract communities, making sure, number one, like on Ethereum or other EVM compatible blockchains, you're going to third parties and you're having the smart contract being audited, right? Gitcoin, they have their DAO. I've supported and helped with those, with making sure projects are legitimate, they have an actual use case, and that there's something of value that they can provide to the community, and then everybody votes on that. Something like that is not, it's being done in this space. It's happening right now, and it's being done successfully, and it's not getting any attention. And it's tough, yeah. Can we say, hey, can we assign people to make decisions for all of us again? Yeah, we can try to do that. But the only thing about it that I'm somewhat reluctant is, why is that person smarter than me, right? Why can't I have my input into this? Because I put a lot of time into learning this technology, and then to also talk about it with others. So what that makes them more, credible than myself as well. And I am talking from a totally ego perspective, because I put in a lot of time into making sure I understand this. I'm sure as you guys as well. So when we do that, I feel like it takes away from all of that from everybody.
Yeah, you make a good point.
You can be the one that creates it. Be the forefront, and then you won't be pushed aside and stuff like that. I think that would be the best option for you.
Yeah, no, you're right. And maybe instead of it being necessarily a governed thing, I guess that's where knee-jerk reaction comes in. But could be a DAO could do something like that. There could be a variety of DAOs that crop up, that there are trusted and respected individuals that aren't bag holders and right, trying to give you, like, they have reason, and they can provide maybe even a platform to vet these things, or just to give kind of, if you create a coin and you aren't willing to kind of submit to their scrutiny, it starts to get weird. But then like your people don't look at you as having any kind of validity, and that might be
guidelines are always helpful. I agree. Guidelines are always helpful. It helps give people direction. It helps give people a standardization. That's what happens in technology. We create a standard so all of us developers can understand how we can communicate with each other on different programming languages, right? So we create these standards and guidelines so everyone can kind of have a base level of where we can grow from a foundational point. And that's possible, within this decentralized ecosystem that we're all building. But it gets weird, because then it becomes like a question when we have a small group that makes a decision and not a totality in votes is, you'll have something like Doge, right? Or you'll have something like a meme coin that might be totally like useless, right? There may not be no use case behind it, but for some reason the community wants it and the community needs it, right? So then it becomes a question of like, well, well, then if the marketplace is saying that they want it, who are we to say that no, this isn't valuable or this isn't good enough because it doesn't have an actual technical use case behind it to generate funds or to do this or to do that or whatever that we're just so used to. So it becomes a difficult question because it becomes, a debate of perspective on a lot of things. And then it becomes this whole thing of like inclusion and exclusion. And that whole battle then begins too. So it's not just as simple as saying, hey, let's create a group and make a wall and say we are the ones that say yes and no to this because we don't understand it. It gets hairy.
Yeah, well, yeah, because like I mean, a perfect example is if you put a group of maximalists together and they're going to create one totally different. But I think if you, yeah, and that's where like the free market comes in, right? Like there are instances where you have free market solutions that crop up when it comes to stuff like you could easily have a competing like safety organizations, right? That it's you don't have it some government entity that really can't be held liable for their mistakes, right? So if you have multiple entities that are kind of competing and maybe they offer some sort of insurance or some, I mean, like if you have X approvals, you get cheaper rates or something like that. Same type of thing. Different DAOs could develop that you get a kind of a broad range. And maybe if there's a cross section of, well, all the DAOs hate this group of coins, I should probably avoid those. Right. But understanding each DAO is going to have a different slant. And I think that's, that's a crypto thing in general that just drives me nuts is every one of these has a risk reward or has trade-offs. And so when people who are like Bitcoiners are shitting on Ethereum for some reason, it's like, well, you guys aren't even trying to do the same thing. So I don't even know what you're talking. It's like McDonald's shitting on,
like salad works or something like that.
And that's food, right? Yeah, like Midas and McDonald's shitting on each other's business models. Like, dude, you guys aren't even doing the same thing. So I don't know what we're talking about here. So
that's a good point. That is a real good point.
Well, and but what's interesting now, I mean, I'm going to kind of, I guess, contradict myself a bit, but like the ordinal thing, like that's where my stance has fallen is that I don't necessarily love it, but it's here. And who am I to say that the block space is available? And if somebody thinks
want to pay for it, exactly, right. And that's when it first came out, I remember seeing videos and people were like, oh my god, transactions gonna go up and they're taking up all the space and and like everyone was complaining and getting all so nervous. I was just like, whoa, slow down, guys. Like, what are you getting mad about? This is volatility. This is momentum. This is volume. This is everything we've been looking for. What do you
Here, let me pull this up here. This is
the complaints just sound louder, but I feel like more people actually enjoyed the Ornos thing. But just the people that were complaining were some of the old people that have been on Litecoin and they just feel like complaining. But I feel like a lot of positive came out of it.
Yeah.
Well,
so I like it. I mean, I'm tracking it, so I'm definitely tracking it.
If you guys can see this, right? So this is, by the way, one of the things that stemmed from this whole Ordinals thing is Litecoin now is doing these bounties. Indigo's creating these bounties and they're getting filled like crazy. So there's supposed to be a mempool.space version, a Litecoin version. It sounds like it's in its final stretches here. So hopefully we'll have this exact thing for Litecoin soon. But this is on Bitcoin, right? There are these ordinals are filling up 113 blocks. And this is kind of a technical thing, but the mempool has a certain amount of memory that generally they try to stick to, and you start purging transactions at some point if it gets too full. So right now it's not this is over 300, but this isn't like a strict limit, this 300. So if you got this up to like a gigabyte, you might start seeing transactions get dropped. But yeah, it's been pretty interesting to watch. And like this TX Street is another one I look at. I was looking at Ethereum yesterday, man. I was blown away. Sorry, I'm having to do this. My working on one monitor is a little different here. So I don't know if you guys use this TX Street at all. I think I bring this up every week. Oh, look, I had Bcash up here last week.
No, this is really
my side, right? Oh, you don't know TX Street?
No.
Really interesting. Hang on. So this kind of shows, it visualizes the blockchain, right? So you've got each bus is a block, each person is a transaction, and the size of the transaction is the size of their head, like how much data is in it.
No way! I love this. This is
it's great. It's really interesting to watch. And so, Bitcoin's been full as hell. And actually, for the first time this week, I wish I'd gotten a screenshot of it. Litecoin had a full block. Maybe not the first time ever, but the first time in a long time. Had a full block, had another block back here, and had one of these little waiting lines. They had like 1,000 people in line because so many ordinals were coming in. But what's related, like I said, this is bringing a new wave of people literally on here, right? And an energy to this that's just it's exciting. Man, I want to show you.
I mean, this is fantastic. This is real time, like.
Oh yeah, it's very cool. You can click on each one. Like you click in here, and it'll show the list of transactions, and it'll take you to the browser, to the Explorer, and everything.
Oh man, this is so much better to look at instead of just a whole bunch of numbers that I can.
Yeah, right. Well, but look at this is the most interesting thing to me is Ethereum, right? And I bought Ethereum 6 years ago and held it for like a month, and then I was done. I've never looked at it again. But it shows you all these different layer 2s or other chains that are linked to it here. And the line, I mean, this is their backlog. This backlog has been like this for well over a year. And people keep paying to be on the chain, and it just shows you the level of activity, right? And so that's a reality that we're going to have to face on that. I think we should want. I mean, that shows demand. I think that if anything, that should give you more faith that Ethereum has use cases long term, right? And what Ordinals is doing is creating this use case on Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason that people don't like it, frankly, is that, like we've explained, it's speed running this whole adoption thing. And if suddenly you can't even, you can't open a Lightning channel for less than $20 or whatever it becomes, right? Because they get that Ethereum level of volume, then it's going to be really difficult for people to maintain this like currency status, which as Litecoiners, we kind of are like, yeah, that's the whole point, right? We can be the cash and you guys can be the gold picture stamped on it.
You're right. That's kind of like what I say. I say, Bitcoin is where you secure your wealth. Litecoin is where we transact business, and Ethereum is where you go play. Because and it's really like what I've seen in the ecosystem. It's not something I'm just making up. This is literally just what I see. And it's what I'm doing. I play on Ethereum. I play on Solana. I yield farm. I mean, I love it. I freaking love it because this is something I couldn't do before, and I didn't know anything about money. I didn't know how to generate money. I didn't know how to keep money in motion. And this allowed me the opportunity to learn all of that. I mean, whether you come into this space as a miner, as a coder, or as a trader, it's irrelevant. We're all going to be in this global stage. And the one thing about blockchain is that it allowed me to interact with people in Dubai, people in Australia, people in the UK, people in Asia, right? Where normally I couldn't have done that really on a business level, on a professional level. And to see and listen to the minds, so many intelligent people in our world, it's just fascinating. I know I sound like I'm all in on blockchain, but it changed my life for me. I mean, it really did. It really, really changed the trajectory of my financial.
Well, you need to get your Wi-Fi updated, bro.
I think he's right.
Actually, well, before he comes back, it's probably gonna be 10 seconds or something. But you had last week. We forgot to have your announcement, Chief, of the winner of your draw. Did you ever announce that?
Yeah, I did it. I gave away to Roman. So Roman,
RL Roman or whatever.
RL Roman. He won the giveaway. Yeah, I gave it to him.
What was it? I don't even remember.
0.5 LTC.
0.5. All right, and then tomorrow. Hey, Simon, do you play poker?
Yeah.
Do you want to try?
We're having a tournament. Yeah, we're having a tournament tomorrow around 9:30 California time. The winner gets 1 LTC. Yeah, all you have to do is join. I'll tweet the link. I mean, it's already tweeted, but I'll tweet it again today because I want people.
Hey,
to
both you guys, if you can, in the comments, you should be able to see the comments, right? Can you comment?
Yeah, I haven't clicked on it yet.
Not my comment, or if you have to put it in my comment, but yeah, put your.
Oh, I can't type on the comment.
Yeah,
I can't type.
Oh, well, here, send it to me, and I'll copy and paste it into the comments.
Awesome.
Whatever your channels are and your Twitter handles and stuff like that. And if you have a link, Chief, I think that'd be good. Because, yeah, how many people do you have right now?
10. I'm sorry. I think it was 8. I was including myself because I haven't registered.
I put it out there, trying to get what I say. If we get to 40, I'll make it
40.
2 Litecoin.
If you get to 40, I'll add another Litecoin too. So, okay.
I'll deposit a Litecoin. I'll deposit.
Oh, here we go. All right. So if you get to 40 people,
we'll make the poll a little bit better there.
So you play at 12:30. It'd be at 12:30, Simon. I mean, I guess if it's just one table, what are the blinds? When are you upping the blinds? Every 10 minutes, 5 minutes?
Every 7 minutes. It's gonna be fast. I know people. got
That's
stuff
fun.
to do. It's not a lot of money.
That's good. That's fun. So hopefully we want to see if this thing goes. Essentially, yeah. There's, Chief's going to be the distributor of funds, I guess, in a way, and we're just going to play on the site that has no real money. Just play the tournament out and distribute the money. So
yeah, that's it. That's all we're going to
do. Gambling, I guess.
I'll make sure because I'm already doing some stuff where what address I'm going to use. I also, since we're talking about Litecoin Poker, I send a message to Atomic Wallet to see if they're trying to sponsor it, to see if they want to be the third party. So when in the future, because I'm thinking maybe we can do some of the donations and add it to some developers or some charities, or maybe to some bounties and stuff like that to keep the ecosystem of the Litecoin network moving or something.
That's a good question. So what are you guys kind of like thoughts and perspectives with Litecoin, right? How do you plan on helping the future of this blockchain and things like that? What are you guys? What's your perspective? What's your mission? I've been talking a lot.
You want to say?
Well,
something?
I mean, I just started being more vocal maybe like 9 months ago, maybe 10 months ago. Just wanted it because I hear a lot of, especially during like the last bull run, a lot of people wanted to do like Dogecoin, and a lot of people wanted to do some other tokens, and they just wanted to get rich quick. And I'm like, oh, you're doing it the wrong way. This is gonna burn you. And eventually, a lot of people got burned, especially at work. People lost a lot of money, and then all of a sudden, they were coming to me, hey, what happened? How can I do this? How can I do that? I'm like, wait, you didn't want to listen to me before. Now you do. So then I was like, you know what? I need to be nice about it. So I started being more vocal on Twitter. Started promoting DCA, dollar cost average. Do your own research, not your keys, not your crypto. Especially because Robinhood last year was stopping trading and all that stuff. Like, oh, you see, get it out of there. This is where you do it. So then I just started making videos of the Litecoin price, and hopefully when people search up Litecoin on Twitter, they see all of us and they see that we do have a community and that we do try to give money back to the community, to people who are actually working on the network and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's funny. I talked about this the other night. I was like, because I'm not a technical guy. Like, I have a pretty good technical understanding of how the blockchain works and some of the trade-offs and like kind of visualizing. I can kind of visualize how this thing works in my head, but I can't code. I don't develop anything like that. And,
me neither.
I've said kind of, I'm pretty small account, right? I'm only 2,700 followers, but every week I get a pretty good blend of what I would call the Litecoin leaders, I guess, right? So generally people from the foundation might stop in, like Johnny Litecoin, and I've had Charlie in there. And so like there's an open communication between me and the foundation. And I really want to become like a cultural point of Litecoin.
You're going that route, brother.
What's that?
You're going that route. You're doing well.
Well, because to me, I think watching what's unfolded with Bitcoin is really it's really disappointing to see how those people are, in my mind, rejecting people from crypto. They're not trying to embrace or be understanding of people. Like Simon is interested in the technology of it and wants to tool around with Helium token and whatever it is. I don't like, what does that affect me, right? So like, I got nothing against him trying this stuff out, and to be like, he's he's a shit coiner, or there's something, he's like a scammer because he is interested in something else. It's just such a bizarre way to look at things. Like, it doesn't give Simon any credit for, like, it's like would be saying he's an idiot, right? He just fell for a scam. That's like they're insinuating that this other person is immoral, and you're like, dude, this is just, it's so weird. So
I mean, yeah, it's crazy because I made a lot of money from helium. So
well, yeah, but they'll, you know, there's always a defense. Did you really? You know, it's like,
hey, and that's the best part. You can see it on the chain. But the point of this isn't about extraction. You know, that's why I don't talk about how much I've made. You know, I'm a full-time trader, so and a developer by night. You know, this is when this is what I do. I don't have a 9 to 5. This is my entrepreneurial journey. There is no other way. You know, I'm a father of 2 boys, right? And a husband of 12 years, married to my high school sweetheart. No one's here to scam anybody out of anything. And I think anyone that's nervous about that needs to wake up and realize that there's no such thing as manipulation and money not in the same conversation. Wherever there's money to be made, there will always be manipulation. There will always be scammers. So that's why financial responsibility is the #1 thing in this world right now, right? It's not just blockchain, it's the world right now. Everybody is focused on financial literacy, right? So this isn't an ecosystem that is existing just willy-nilly. We're talking about billions of dollars that's being spent inside of Ethereum, inside of Bitcoin, inside of Litecoin, inside of, you know, all of these chains, right? This is a lot of money. And I'm talking about an entire ecosystem.
man, Simon, your Wi-Fi is killing you. Oh, Chief dropped. Uh-oh, maybe this is me. That's not good. Did you guys lose me? Can everybody hear me?
For anyone that's new, right? For anyone
Hang on,
that's maybe
Simon, you froze again. God damn.
I know. I'm telling you, they're watching me. I know.
Well, you froze. You froze. Dude, you froze.
I know. I trust me. I already know. I've worked for them. I trust me. I know. It's okay.
So you froze, and Chief dropped at the same time.
Well,
I'm like, oh crap, my whole computer
I
crashed.
pressed the button on my mouse for the brief.
I'm thinking, Jesus, man.
But you know, anyone that's that's a little bit reluctant coming into this space, be that way. I want you to have your guard up. Please have your guard up, right? Don't come here being gullible, expecting anyone to sit there and offer you anything. If anybody DMs you and says, "Hey, I'm gonna give you $1,000," like, ask yourself, why? Right? Seriously. Like, stop falling for the nonsense. Like, stop thinking that someone owes you something, right? Stop thinking that. And that's where, and then scammers will always exist, but they can only have power if you fall for it, right? So that's why, you know, these conversations that we're having right now, being open about it and talking to people, crypto responsibility, financial responsibility. I'm not here to say fiat needs to be taken over. I don't see a future where fiat is gone. I don't see that. All right. I just see a future where there's a population that's continually to grow, that is starting to get a little bit out of control for some places and entities and in countries and stuff. Right. So they don't like that. So, but that population still needs to exist, and that population still needs to transact. Right. So I see a future where it all exists. It all exists. All right. Because it's not about I'm right and you're wrong. It's never been about that. And until people realize that the world is not about I'm right and you're wrong, I mean, you're gonna be in that rat race. You're gonna be stuck wherever you are. And I feel bad for you. But when you realize it's about just behavior and perspective and how you can provide value to others, and you know, that's where you start to see some awesome shit happen.
Yeah, I mean, the ordinals conversation, like, I found myself, that was one of the few things where I found myself feeling like a maximalist in a way, of like, in the sense that, like, this is free speech. Like, you can't, this has got to be something that if we can't agree on this, then this whole thing's gone, right? Like, if we as a culture, a crypto cypherpunk culture, can't sit here and go, look, don't censor anything. You like, that's the absolute bottom line, is these things have to be censorship proof, ideally, but you can never fully have that, but censorship resistant, as hardy as it can be. And I found myself just like, God damn, like people that I thought were, that I would think were on that same line of thinking. I get your frustration with what this thing is and you don't like it. But again, I said on Wednesday, you don't own Litecoin, bro. Like this isn't your network to decide what you think is right or wrong. It was built to be agnostic and to just transact information from peer to peer. Whatever the information is, that's up to the user. That's up to the guy who's willing to pay the fee to be on the next block. Yes. And I don't get to have a say in that. And if you're like, you're not okay with stupid pictures, but you're okay with, like, obviously there's money laundering going on in crypto, right? There's people, one of the earliest adopters were the drug dealers that probably have association with trafficking. And it's like, that's just money, dude. It's just communication between A and B, right?
I was going to say that existed before, before we created the internet. Yeah, before we created the internet, that existed. When we were using and exchanging in seashells, all right, that existed. Yeah. It is human behavior. How many seashells? It's up to humans. It's up to humans to decide, to start speaking up. I mean, honestly, like the internet's been a place for a lot of backlash. It's been a lot of place for a lot of pointing fingers, right? And we let negativity rise to the top. But as soon as we post about something positive, it's like, oh, you're supposed to be anonymous. Oh, you shouldn't be talking about you donated to this organization or this charity. How dare you flaunt your money?
Was that the whole Mr. Beast thing or whatever?
It's like, how are you supposed to combat negativity with positivity if positivity is always quiet? Right? That doesn't, to me, that doesn't make any sense.
That's exactly why I started doing all this, open my mouth on Twitter, because it was pure negativity about Litecoin. And it was like, all right, you know what? Let me fight back. And then I did fight back during the Ornos thing. And then my messages were just popping in like, oh, you're doing it wrong. You're dumb. You put your bounty for something that doesn't work. It's only going to make everything worse. And I was like, damn, bro, chill, relax, hold up, calm down. And then people were really mad, bro. But it's like, whatever. It doesn't even matter.
But it's like, Chief, you make a good point, because it's like, bro, like, allow me to be wrong, first of all. Like, allow me the right to be wrong if I'm wrong. Allow me the right to lose money if I lose money. Like, that is okay, people. Yeah. Like, it is. I know when, we talk from like a parent perspective and teachers, and, we want to protect others. And I totally get all of that. And it's hard sometimes. But at the same time, we also, especially being a father of two boys, I struggle with that every day. I'm like, I want to protect my boys, but I also want them to experience it too at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. I was outside playing basketball, running around, not on the computer all day. I'm getting hurt, scraping my knee. But then, now it's just like, oh my gosh, don't let them fall. And, and it's like, how are they going to be tough then? How are they going to be able to grow and see that their body can heal after they get hurt? We have kids that, I remember during the pandemic, this is a real quick side story. During the pandemic, we went outside playing, right? It's the first time after we were all stuck inside. My son comes up to me and he's just like, Dad, there's just stuff on my face. What's going on? And I'm like, son, that's called sweat. I'm like, that's called sweat. And after that moment, I was just like, get outside. Get outside.
How old are you?
Run for 30 minutes outside.
9 and 5 right now. 9 and 5.
All right, yeah. Yeah, I was wrestling with my because I got daughters, and like I grew up with an older brother. We fought all the time. Like that's all we did was wrestle and play football outside, everything. And my daughter's like, I was wrestling with one of them, and she kind of got hurt. My wife's like, oh, maybe you're being a little rough. I'm like, she's got to feel that she can absorb, like feel pain in the short term, and it goes away, and like it's gonna make you feel so much more comfortable. Like I never, and not that I'm a fighter or anything, but I never like got afraid because I was like, I got beat up so much as a kid, like I'll be fine. Like, I had an older brother, so I appreciated that as I got older. Like
what's another purple eye?
Afraid of people,
right?
Unless they're huge, I'm only like 5'8", so.
No, I mean, but that's those. I mean, look at us, like we're having conversation with that right now, and we're all like reminiscing and just laughing That's what this is about. You know what I mean? That's what blockchains to me is about. That's what crypto is about to me. I would never have met you guys without crypto or Litecoin. You're not in my inner circle. So how would I've ever, so that's what we should talk about. That's the part we should really enjoy and just not overthink. Because this is the collaboration part. That's really, really cool. And it's funny how we end up finding out that we have so much more in common and than a lot of us think we do.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed that part of. Yeah, I think we get Crypto Raccoon comes in. He's from Scotland and he's been living on Cyprus for a while, or Crete, or one of those places. I don't know which one. And like I always have Tux from Australia, and we get people from India and Latin America,
Awesome.
Mexico,
That's
and I think Brazil. Yeah, you're just like, it's just so cool to just that there is this common ground, and you would think we'd be wildly different in the way we look at the world, but we really aren't. I mean, we have pretty much, I would say, the same value systems as people across all cultures. And that we all have the same issues with our governments. Like, the United States, actually, as much as I think the United States is pretty much a socialist country at this point in time. I don't think it's even up for debate. And it's just getting worse and worse. But, places like Canada and Australia are probably pushing even further forward than the US is, and Europe's going along. And they all see it. They all see the same issues with their governments, and how they distort value, they distort markets, that you can't have a good understanding of what anything is worth when everything is subsidized. Yeah. There is no real value, right? So that's where the fiat thing is such a mentality to try that you can't escape, because everything is priced in it, and like you don't have, it's like what they call the boiling of the frog. Have you ever heard that kind of analogy?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, you slowly, like the water's getting warmer, but since we don't have any way of seeing outside of that, because we're just completely engulfed in the fiat world. And so when these, people are continuously referencing, well, this is the price, we got to get to this price, get this price, it just keeps resetting our mind. And so I think stable coins collapsing, I think it's going to be painful in the short term for people, but in the long term.
Isn't USDC at 92 right now?
I mean, it was. I think it bounced back. Let me see.
Last night it was 88 cents, and I was
it's at 91.
It's at 91 right now.
On CoinGecko, it's at 91.
Yeah.
I mean, on Monday, if they open trading on Monday, everyone's going to sell it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, people were upset. They were like, how can we have USDC being like the majority of this? This is not decentralized anymore. Like, this is not where we should have. It's tough, and you want to create the foundation of Bitcoin, but then stable coins wants to be it because people don't want to deal with volatility. So that but either way, I see it as, that's what creates the volatility. It's the momentum, go to USDC, go to Bitcoin, go to Litecoin, go here, keep it in motion, figure out what's best for you and your lifestyle, right? Your strategy may not be mine. I mean, they don't, because they don't know, they don't have a plan. They don't, because when you don't have a plan, it's hard to hear someone that has a plan talk.
Yeah,
because I used to get that way. I used to get frustrated.
Yeah, people don't want to hear any about preparing yourself for when it goes up, or how much money is a lot of money, or what do I do once it triples? I'm like, wait, sell it, because people were holding. I knew somebody at work that had Dodge, and they bought it like below one penny. And when it hit like 55 cents, she had a good amount of money. I was like, sell it. And she had it on Robinhood, so it was easy to sell, to actually get fiat for her. And she's like, no, I'm going to hold it because it's going to go to like 80 cents, $1. Boom. She lost all that money. And she came to me. It's like, what do I do? Robinhood doesn't let me trade it. What's happening? What do you want me to tell you? I've been telling you to sell it and prepare yourself and do something with it, but you ignored me. Like, I don't know how else to do it. Like, people don't want to take their, maybe, I mean, I don't know how many hours or days you guys invested in yourself and being financial literate, but it takes time. It doesn't just take 1 hour. It takes like months, and it takes you looking at your accounts and all that stuff weekly, daily. People don't want to do that. People want somebody else to do that, but they don't want to invest their money. That they wanted other people to do it for free, and it's like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, it doesn't work that way, and that's one of the difficult things that I struggle with, like telling people to, hey, don't put all your money in. make sure you have a plan. When it reaches a certain point, buy something for yourself, like improve your life. This is what it's for. Don't go buy like little stuff that doesn't make sense or anything. Like get a better apartment, get a better car, do something that will improve yourself. But now people just want to get rich quick. That's
Yeah.
all.
No, you make some great points. One that I need, for anyone that's listening, so something that helped me change my mindset when it came to, finances was that first I was just like, well, I look at money now as an employee, right? So if
Mhm.
my employee is just sitting around on lunch break all day, sitting in my account, all right, but I mean, are you gonna be happy with an employee sitting on lunch break all day with your job? So I want to put my employees to work. I want to put my money to work for me. And I find areas to put my money to work. Now, can that money be lost? Of course, right?
Yeah.
Why not? Can the money be lost in the bank? Yeah, of course. Why not? Can we lose it to inflation? It's already happening. $20 today can't buy you $20 last year, right? We already know that. It's not a debate. It's happening. Okay, it's
Mhm.
happening.
Yeah.
So it's either you figure out how to adapt or you're going to get left behind. And I promise you this right now, the wealth gap is increasing and it's increasing on purpose. Okay. It's increasing on purpose. And they're making it so that no one will able to cross over ever again in the lifetime of human history. I'm dead ass right now. So figure out however way you need to learn about money right now and use it to invest. However way you need to learn, find that way and do it. Because I promise you. And I was telling people this back in 2020, and everyone that listened that was coming at me and saying stuff to me, they're looking at me now. I'm like, hey, oh, where's that $20 and $100 you've been saving? How was it worth now? 70, 80, 60?
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to put money to work. And the reason why you don't know is because it was designed that way, right? Think about it. For the government, for anyone, for an employer, it's not to their best advantage for you to be well versed in finances, okay? Um, it's not to their best interest. So they're not going to tell you, all right? And I didn't realize that until, in my late 30s. I
More
wish
importantly, you
I
don't
did.
even really have, you're not even given access to the tools that somebody
Yeah,
else has access to, right? You have to be licensed and you have to go talk to some broker and open an account and qualify and all this shit. It's like that's
yeah.
where
I
that's
learned from trading. I learned from millionaire traders. I joined a group of millionaire traders that taught me for about 18 months. I learned everything about money from people that I knew were making big money. And that was it. That's all I did. I seeked out people that were successful and I bothered the shit out of them until they paid attention to me and taught me. And I paid them big money to learn this game because I know that people are making six figures in a day. And I was
Yeah.
struggling to make three figures in a week, right? I was struggling to make $1,000 in a week, and now I can make thousands of dollars in a day, right? So
right.
that's what happened for me. Um, and I was only able to get there when I finally looked in the mirror and I was just like, let me put my ego to the side. Everything I knew about money was wrong. And I went to good schools. I went to private schools, went to Seton Hall, went to Towson University. I went to, I got that. It's not like I'm some goofball, okay?
Mhm.
And if I'm struggling, I know there's other people struggle. I know. So it's okay. It's okay. But just remember that there's actually a plan and there's actually a way that you can get to the other side. And I'm living proof.
Well, yeah, and I think that that's something with where I would look at like things like Bitcoin and Litecoin, like the ones that I trust to be here in the long term. Like that's a nice, simple solution for someone like who doesn't say, isn't like, hey, I'm going to sacrifice X amount of time to trade or whatever it is, right? Maybe they don't have that faith, or even, there are people that you're a pretty sharp guy, Simon. So I'm sure you're on the top 10 percentile at least, right? So, there's people where it is simpler to say, that you can pass generational wealth on. Like, I think that's something that got taken away from a lot of people with like Social Security. started preventing people from passing real value on to their next generations, right? And so getting people to understand, like your kids, right? You're going to be able to know, I'm going to give them some hard asset that can't be touched, right? So that's something that is a simple way to teach people, like this is generational stuff, right?
I'm glad you just said that, actually. I'm really glad you just said that. And I don't know if it was a coincidence or not, but this is what I'm giving to my kids. If you guys can't see this, this is a leather bound Dragon Ball Z.
Show your words in there. What are you doing?
It's okay. I'm just serious though. This is what I'm giving to my kids, my two boys. This is everything I've learned, all right, from my mentors about money, about how to make money, about how to run a business, about how to make sales, how to reach others. Everything I'm learning, I write. Our conversation we're having right now, I'm taking notes. All right. I don't care who you are. You don't need to be some scholar for me to learn from. Okay. I just want interactions from other people. And I'm going to write down those notes and I'm going to figure out how I can take those interactions and apply it to my life. Okay. So this is what I'm handing down to my kids. I don't need to hand down money, because if I hand them down this, they can make trillions and billions and whatever. That's the goal. That's the one thing I wish I had handed down to me. Was how to make money, how to generate revenue, how to generate profits, not to be an employee. So
I can't get my girls to care about money that much. I'm like, what do you want to do? I don't know. I want to be a teacher. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, that's fine, but like, you want a fallback plan, or like, because I keep thinking about, you know, again, maybe because it's the cost of college, but I start going, well, why do you really need to go to college? Like, wouldn't you be better off just be an intern, work at a company for 4 years for free? It costs you nothing. You can still live at home. Like, you could work. You could just be my like sidekick, right? Learn how business works. Learn how people communicate with each other. Learn how to be like an effective communicator and what's valuable in business. And because those things translate to everything, like an ability to conduct an effective meeting or whatever it might be, and understand how to get to like the root of the matter, and you know, to basically make a plan like you're talking about. Those things only come with experience. And you go to college and come out and you're like, I got all this debt and I don't have a marketable skill.
Yeah.
I don't have a marketable skill. Like,
yeah, I know how to set up a beer pong table. What are you talking about?
Yeah, if you're going, like, you want to be a teacher, okay, you have a teaching degree. There's certain things you got to do, right? I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor. Like, that's, again, you have to have approval of the state, so you got to go do these things. But if you're just like, I'm going for whatever, a business degree, I don't know that that's super valuable, depending on what your long-term goal is. If you want to go work in a big corporation, okay. But if you would a small business appreciate you working for free for 2-3 years? You know what I mean? They'd probably pay you, right? They'd pay you $15-20 an hour just to be an effective employee and learn as you go. And then your resume looks so much better. It's just, I mean, the whole stupid, we got to get over the college degree thing, like with a quickness. And I hope as a culture we do, you know.
It's tough, you know. It's tough, you know. For my wife, it worked out. It worked out for her. I mean, you know, it did, and you know, it's like.
But
other people
I getting to marry you.
You know, I mean, she does her own thing. You know, she got out of she graduated from UDEL, and works for got a job out of college working for the GOV, and just been on her thing, doing her thing. You know, it and I know other people it did work out. But you know, some people it didn't.
Are you in a larger city? Are you near a large city?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm just wondering because it seems like
I'm in Maryland. Yeah, I'm in small town in Maryland.
Well, but does she work in DC? I'm asking. Is that what you mean? That government? Oh, okay.
But you know, through.
Well, the reason I'm asking is like because a lot of times there's a lot of people who don't have again, I'm using access. I feel like that's such a political word to me. I don't even like to say it, but people that don't live near the hub of governments, those jobs aren't even available to them. You know, you got to live near the epicenter.
I guess that's an interesting point. I never thought about it like that.
He froze again, or he's thinking really deeply.
Now they're watching him. They're watching him.
Throttling his internet or something. It must be, maybe he's using this helium network and it's just not You're cutting out. Is it helium failing you?
I told you they're watching me.
It's the helium node, is what you're telling. It's
I
not
told you they're watching me. Ever since I started mining too, they've been fluctuating with my electricity, and they sent me. I got a letter. I got a letter in the mail the other day. It was just like, you're using 200% more electricity than your neighbor.
How many machines?
I know, I'm running a business.
How many machines do you have?
They're gonna charge you 30% extra on that tax, man. Be careful.
I know. I got 3 years to make as much as I can.
Man, yeah,
for that 30%. I know. Oh man,
see, that to me is like such a grasping at straws thing.
Oh yeah,
Biden to say that. Well, because again, I don't think he could even. Could you create a national tax? I don't know how you would do that. First of all,
make it. Who cares? Make the tax. Make it. You know why? Because I know the IRS. I know what it is. I've been an entrepreneur since 2010. Okay, I know where to put the money. Yeah. Go ahead, tax me. You're gonna tax me 30% at zero. Go ahead, tax me.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I'm serious. You got Donald Trump that does it, right? You got everyone that's figured it out, all right? And all of us on that sideline didn't know about this, all right? Paying up the wazoo in the middle and lower class, and the upper class is paying nothing because they learned how to put money in motion, right? So they make money here and they invest it there, and then they deduct it, right?
I started working at the bank when I was 21. And I learned there. That's where I got all my knowledge from, of how to, do the right things and make sure you keep your money flowing and stuff like that. And I was doing the same thing you were doing. All the rich customers when they will come in, I saw them as an opportunity to ask questions like, "Oh, wait, where do you do this? How do you do that?" And I'd learn from just asking people. Like, I don't mind if they think that I'm like a little illiterate or something. Like, go ahead and put yourself out there so you can learn. And then I got all my info from working at the bank, so I'm okay with that.
Nice. Wow, to me, that's better than college. That's better than college. It's like like you were saying before, like that experience at the financial institution, at the bank. You were able to meet people really working, really having success, really dealing with big money, and and to pick their brains. That's so valuable that we just as a society, for whatever reason, like totally overlook. Like, and
it was one of them, by the way. Yeah. I overlooked. There was a customer that came in. I always remember this. He came in. He's like, "Hey, Facebook's about to go public. I want to make a wire to my trading for 70K." And he's like, "All right." So I was doing the wire and all that stuff, and then I did the wire. A week later, Facebook didn't go up. It just went down. So his value was like maybe like 48,000. He's like, "Oh, no worry. That's what happens," and stuff like that. Fast forward, I was there 3 years later. He comes back and he's like, "Oh, I'm getting a wire out of it," and it's like 300K out of 70K. I was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah.
What just happened?
I started learning these things, and he would tell me like, "It's okay, leave it there. You have to leave it working. If you're gonna put so much money, it can't hurt you. Make sure you have your bills paid first and all that stuff." So then I saw with my own eyes how this dude went from like 60, 70K to 300K in 3 years. I was like, okay, I'm doing something wrong. Yeah,
right. Especially when you see it, like when you actually experience it and you see it, it like hits you different. And that's what happened with me when I was around the traders. One of my mentors right now, Roland, I was just at the boot camp. I watched his journey. Like I watched him become, a 4-figure, 5-figure, now 7-figure trader. I'm like, I saw the whole thing happen, and I was just like, oh shit, it's possible. Like I can do that. And that's what people really need to experience more. They need to experience other people winning.
I think why he's frozen. I know. I think people need to experience a little bit of pain and hopefully not losing a lot of money, but losing some money, because then it built a callus to where like, okay, I'm losing a little money, but I see my money working and it's moving up and down.
Just like getting beat up as a kid, right?
No, you're right. Underground a couple of weeks ago says, if you know a Litecoiner, you know a patient motherfucker, and that's for sure. That's for sure, man. Because we've been thrown to the mud, and then we come out a little, and then
I was watching this race.
That was good. That's good. I like that.
Underground, you need to sell a shirt. I'll buy it. But if you know I like,
Yeah.
if you know, Asian motherfucker, I'll be the one to get. I'll get a couple of shirts.
I want to go back because I think another important thing, like you seeing in the bank or Simon, you meeting these other people, is also you get like this. You see, like, oh, these are just people. Like, there's nothing. Like, yeah, they're generally going to be pretty sharp people, but they make mistakes and they're not perfect traders. And I'm just, I have conversations with somebody. Oh, I'm just as smart as this dude. So like that's probably Simon, maybe the epiphany you had, or Chief, seeing this guy going, okay, well, he doesn't seem anything special. It's not like he's pulling in a Rolls Royce and like,
he didn't look any special to me, man. He looked like a normal guy. He looked like me. He was just like maybe 6 years older. I was 22 at the time, or 21, and he was like 28, 29. The only difference though is that I did see that the person he was with, I don't know who he was with because he was sitting on the other side, looked like he was like some type of mentor or something. He didn't look like he was taking advantage of the guy or anything. He just looked like he was guiding him or something.
He's probably the mafia boss. He's probably
right. Yeah, probably. No, but they were always together. They looked like there was they had like a business partnership or something because they were always together. But yeah, that's the only difference because I didn't have that. The only thing that I wish in my 20s was that I didn't party at night. I partied too much. I hope I could have cut down on the partying, but it's like whatever. Yeah, that's all. I wish I had like a mentor of that type of sort, but my mentors were drinking and building a beer pong table. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I agree. I always look back. I'm like, man, I did not use college to its networking potential like I should have. I didn't see. My whole thing was like, oh, go to get your diploma and graduate. I'm the first one born in this country. My parents from Haiti. So like immigrant parents not understanding just the U.S. economy, the way the traditions were. So the goal was just like, hey, let's just get a college educated, graduated child. Like that was it, right? So it made that happen. But going back, I'm like, man, that was my opportunity to network with everybody, and I'm leaving college without a black book of phone numbers. Like I know people, but you know what I mean? Like I needed to like create legitimate professional relationships. Yeah. And so that's the one thing I can say, college can be valuable if you go in there with the right perspective and use it as a networking opportunity. Oh man, that's a freaking gem of a hub to have that. But to go there to say, oh, you need to force education to sit in the classroom, and raise your hand and answer when I call on you, you just not that style. I'm not for that at all. But it's interesting. Life gives it's like they say, life gives you the things you need when you're ready. If I would have had everything that I have now in my 20s, I probably would have screwed it all up. I probably would have messed it up somehow.
Yeah, because I think the same way. Like now, like would I have been a better person if I had all this info in my 20s? Like no, I probably would have been spending more money and traveling. Well, I did a lot of traveling, so that's the good thing. But other than that, other than that, I did party too much. But the traveling part, I don't mind.
It's like, God, again, it's not religious or something, but like they say, like you get the message when you're ready to receive it, right? And like if you didn't have the dedication to that to actually work on that message when you were 23, you would have just ignored it, right? You would have blown past it. You would have ignored the guy who bought the Facebook stock, right? Which because you just weren't in that mindset at the time. Where 10 years later, you're going, oh, I need to, like, you become aware of how damaging all this fiat stuff is to your money, right? You just over time you realize, like, God damn, I'm not getting any closer. I mean, I feel, I'm 10 years down the road. I don't feel like I've gained a whole lot versus where I was. I mean, I've saved some money. I've paid down some of my house, but it's like I still got, you still got your bills, and you still got everything's increasing in price, and you're generally not keeping pace with it, and it's hard. Your salary doesn't make ends meet like it did 10 years ago. So it's just it's a grind, dude.
It's a grind. It's a grind to a never ending pool of I hate to say it this way, but a pool of despair, because It's not. I'm serious because it was never created for you to come out on top.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, it wasn't created to generate millionaires. Like, it wasn't created to generate successful entrepreneurs, right? It was it was there to create a stable environment of employees, right? So we need you just right. Just right. You know,
Yeah.
that's what we need you. Just right. Not enough to go travel every weekend or every quarter. You know, maybe one vacation at Disney World a year. Oh, gosh
Or like
forbid.
or
you
work a
take
few
vacation,
years and take a year
right?
off, right? Like work
Yeah.
5 years. Yeah. Just
So,
work at your leisure.
Oh,
That ain't gonna
and
work.
then another talking about taking vacations. There was another person. She was a girl. She was also a trader. She's like, "Oh, I already finished my first quarter. I'm gonna take 3 weeks off of vacation and go out." I'm like, "Wait, what? What do you mean? You just have money for 3 weeks and pay all your bills like that?" It opens my eyes how other people manage their money, and I'm like, "Why can't I do that? Why is it that I can only take 2 weeks out of the whole year and get paid for it, while this girl every quarter finishes her job and then goes on a 3 week, 1 month vacation?" I was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, there's that. It opens my eyes, and I need. Well, I got better. When I was 22, I was telling myself I need to get better at this shit, and then I found out crypto 5-6 years later, and then that's how I was like, I'm gonna take it that route. I'm gonna do it like they did it, and it's been working ever since.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. How did that mindset shift happen to you where you like kind of stopped working for money? You know, did that ever happen, or are you still
I
kind
lost
of
everything.
doing that?
I lost everything. I remember I was like 27, 28. I had lost everything, and I was like, wait, just because I know how to use the tools, I mean, just because I have the tools doesn't mean I know how to use the tools. And then I started doing some more research, started hitting up some buddies, like some old colleagues, and like, hey, how did you do this? How did you move this? And then you slowly learn, but it took me a minute. It takes a long time to realize how to use the tools, because you can have them, but you need to know how to use them.
That's a great point. No,
everything to actually learn how to use them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It does.
Yeah,
I found some dark spaces. Go ahead, Underground.
Yeah, I was gonna say I still, I still work for money, right? I still got bills to pay, and I mean, I am making less than I made in a previous job, but in a place I like work. Like I feel like there's a long future. Like again, I've started to have this realization. My brother just turned 48 or 47. I'm gonna be 44, and like you start thinking in 10 years, I'm gonna be an old guy, right? I'm gonna be the guy they don't want to hire. So you have to start thinking about like, well, I got to find a place that's going to be my permanent place, because I mean, it's a reality. I mean, I'd like to be at, I'd like Litecoin to go to $5,000 and I never to work again. That'd be great. But, you can't live in that fantasy for too long. You still have to think about reality and what's valuable to you. Like, I think I've worked, my goal in my work life is like I'm not a high stress guy. So I want something I feel like I can control and that gives me ample time with my family and that type of stuff. That's my preference. I could go make more money, but it's just not, I wouldn't have time to do stuff like this.
That's where, I get to drive my kids to school and pick them up every single day. And I don't know if I would never trade that in for anything anymore now. That's my moment with them. I can teach them things. We listen to affirmations in the morning. We can dance, listen to music. Like, it's our precious moment between me and my sons, and that's where I can help them, groom them into a better man as they get older. But before that, when I was working, I used to work for the DoD before I started my company, right? And I was making really good money. But I remember waking up a Monday morning and I was just completely miserable. Like I was just beyond miserable and didn't want to go into work. And I was just like, I'm doing tech, like what I want to do, supposedly. What's going on? Why do I feel this way? I end up leaving and then creating my own company, and I tried other times to go back and work that 9 to 5. And not too long ago, I went to do this sales gig. just because I wanted to just test myself, right? I've learned some new information and I want to test it out, right, in the marketplace. So I got this account manager job, and it's going well. Closed like over $50,000 of sales for them in like a month, and it's working, right? Then all of a sudden, you know, I'm supposed to get my commission, and they're like, "Oh, we're not going to pay you your commission." And I'm like, "Oh, here's that moment again where shit hits the fan, and I need to make a decision of who I want to be in life and what my value set is." And then that's that moment where I was just like, you know what? I'm going all in on myself from now on.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of people shortchanging me wherever where I go. And it's tough sometimes because I wanted to have that world so much, so bad, that 9 to 5 secure job in the office and this. And I think because I wanted it so much, I was pushing it away. Maybe I don't know. People kind of say when you go towards something, you kind of push it away a little bit or whatever. But for whatever reason, I don't know. It just didn't seem to work out every single time. Every single time, it didn't work out. Something would happen, and I'm like, all right, something's got to give. I got to figure this out, right? And that's when I ended up, changing just a whole shift where I was just like, I'm not going to be an hourly employee anymore. I'm going to understand what it means to just provide value to people. And then that's when I started making the big bucks because I stopped looking at exchanging my hourly time for hourly dollars. And I'm like, look, I come to you with plans. I give you strategies, right? And I want you to pay me for this entirety, and not for just a few hours. And that was only found from mentors, because I saw other business owners doing that. They're like, you'll have somebody that'll train somebody in LinkedIn profile and make over $6,000 in an hour training people on a webinar. And I'm struggling to make daycare money, at a 9 to 5. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. And when I found that out, I was just like, I need to figure out a new way to think about all of this because it's not work. It wasn't working for me.
Right.
So, we all have our struggles that we have to figure out how to get out of and overcome. That's the best part about all this. It's like overcoming, getting to the other side, and then meeting people and then having this conversation with you guys and listening, and you hear that other people had their struggles too, and and they had to overcome.
The journey is the fun part.
Well, yeah. Earlier we were kind of talking about, I forget. I guess you were saying that the system's not intended for you to get past a certain point, right? And it does make me think about working people are this 90% of, well, I'm probably not 90% anymore, but you get my meaning, right? Most taxpayers are in that range of they're hourly, they're paying their bills, right? They're not getting ahead, they're not achieving generational wealth. And that's this huge sector of people that have been in my mind, purposely pit against each other and divided to not understand our commonalities, so that things like crypto are very cool for that. And I think Twitter Spaces is cool for that because you don't know who the person is on the other side. And so to have conversations and build community. And that's like I was saying earlier about creating this culture of bringing more people into this tent is more important to me than the short-term price of Litecoin. Right. So if I can get people to feel comfortable, coming in, having free speech and having these free exchanges, and they can hear a message and they can start to understand that free speech isn't scary. People come in and they can post whatever in the Twitter Spaces and they put whatever they want. Right. It's its own ecosystem, this culture. And so that's where I feel like building that is probably the most important thing to me, that we don't lose sight of the most important aspects of what crypto is going to provide is or I should say sound money cryptos, whatever. But even so, to changing your mindset and seeing the world in a different way, and that there's possibility to actually opt out of this system if we can collectively work together. I think that helium thing's cool because at some point, what if we do figure out we can develop a wireless mesh network. I know, like, one of my followers always talking about one of the difficulties of crypto is like, if you don't have Wi-Fi, you're screwed, right? Or if you lose cell service, you can't spend it. And so mesh networks are probably this 10-year dream, 20-year dream where we're not.
Well, it's happening now.
Well, but I mean, like, as far as like mass adoption, right? Where you wouldn't even require
there's a 5G network, decentralized network right now, partner with T-Mobile. They actually reached out to me to go work for them. Yeah, no, we it's happening right now. That's what the Solana phone is and all that stuff. Like,
well, but Solana's got a centralization point, right? That's what I mean. There's still, but we're getting there. Like, and that's what I mean. Some of this shit coinery, whatever you want to call it, is you got to let people learn and explore. And if they are incentivized to do it, like, it's part of the game. If you don't provide incentive, like, look what happened with Litecoin. We do a little bounty, a couple $1,000, and in a few days, the thing we were looking for gets done. So it's okay to have, people should be incentivized to work. People should.
Excuse me. Why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you?
Right.
And anyone, like, I always say to, it's different for me because as a developer, I get to experience all of these different blockchains, right? I get to experience Polygon. I get to experience Solana. I get to experience Ethereum. I get to experience smart contracts and what they're doing for people. I get to see all of this being in boot camps, right? And, and then someone else coming in, look into it, and they're like, oh, that's not Bitcoin. That's not Litecoin. No, it's a shit coin. I don't understand the technology behind it. And that's fine. That's totally fair. Totally a great argument. But the thing about it is, like you were saying before, it's irrelevant to you. You know what I mean? It's irrelevant to your opinion because we're not in a U.S. market. And that's going to be hard for a lot of people to swallow. And I'm going to say that again, right? For people that maybe it went over your head. We are not in a U.S. market, right? This is not United States owned blockchain.
Oh, correct. Yeah.
Currency. This is a global stage, right? So that means there's people from different countries in different parts of the world that has a completely different mindset than you, right? And maybe fiat doesn't work there and they need to use something else. Or maybe they don't have the laws and the regulations like we have in the US. So it's not, that is something, it's, you have to remember going into this space. You're not just messing around. You see, when you're in stocks, a lot of times the US has had control over a lot of stuff. It's the very first time where we're entering a space where the US is not the majority anymore. And that's hard for a lot of us. But at the same time, that doesn't mean we should run away from it, right? And now it went from a point where the most mining activity was in Asia, and now the highest mining activity is happening in the United States. I don't know. Is that done on purpose? Hey, you tell me. I don't know. But either way, wherever there's emergent technology, damn right the US and people are going to be there because there's opportunity, right? You can solve problems. And I would like people, and I would challenge anybody to look into the space as, what is the problem that this blockchain is trying to solve? And are they actually doing it? And if they are, is it that bad that it's different from what I'm a part of? And then that's it, and then, and if it's not for you, it's not for you. And that's okay. And that is okay.
That is the number one question. Like, what's the problem they're solving? And why would I choose to use this platform versus another one? Like, what are the advantages of this? So if you just have, like, particularly there's like second layer ETH solutions, right? There can be an ungodly amount of them, right? They can be duplicated pretty rapidly. If anything's open source, it can be duplicated pretty rapidly. So what is it that makes it unique? That was the thought I had when I first started posting on Twitter, was like, I boiled it down to like, well, culture makes a difference, right? The community actually really, really matters. Like, the more people recognize it as money, they recognize there's other people out there that are willing to accept Litecoin and they also see it as valuable. That's the purpose of money. Like, if I don't have faith that in 5 years that anybody will take my money, then that's a bad form of money. You know what I'm saying? So the things that have staying power are going to be because of the mining, the miners have a vested interest in, like, they're investing money, right? So somebody out there is invested. If people are mining, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, they share that mining, Litecoin, Dogecoin share the mining network. So, okay, check box. Those three have something in common that is going to they'll have an audience for the foreseeable future. Might be the best way to put it. And so what's the thing we can do as a community to differentiate ourselves and to broaden our community? It's not to restrict your community. You want it as broad as you can. That's why I keep coming back to this Doge thing. Like, hey, we're in this together as far as I'm concerned. There's a certain amount of block space that's available to transact securely for the long term. And they're on these three different chains. So we're on the same team here. Even if I don't like some things people say or do, the reality is that we're all selling the same thing, basically, right? So, there's some differences. There's, privacy, and we can get down into those weeds. But in my mind, it's more important to me that, we think about it from the perspective you're talking about, Simon. This is a world market. This is people that are going to use these things for different reasons than I'm going to use them, and I'm in no place to tell somebody how to use it. And that's the message.
And
that's more important.
You're right. That's a great message. And the one thing about security that you just brought up, I think we should kind of talk about this real quickly too on MWeb and Mimblewimble, and the importance of I didn't realize that before, and maybe others didn't either, or maybe they have, and I'm just late to the party. But I was just like, oh, duh, when we transact. And I can see everything on a blockchain. It's a public ledger. Oh, this is great. Global. Everyone's supposed to see it, no problems. But then I was just like, wait a minute. When you go transact with your bank account and your Visa card, I don't know how much money you have in your bank account because you just bought at my store, right? I don't know how much money you have now. But when we transact with Bitcoin before Mimblewimble, before that technology, people were tracking other people's wallets. Now, you didn't know the person unless you knew the individual, right? But at the same time, you can still, over time, create things from multiple transactions and things like that, whatever. But besides that, just the basic bare minimum that when I transact with you, you shouldn't know what's in my bank account, right? Or what's my total amount in my wallet. That security feature, when I was testing it out with Litecoin Core and Mimblewimble, I was generating the MWeb addresses and I was sending them and transacting to myself. That's nice. That's great. That is amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's a game changer that people aren't even aware of yet. I think once we have it on mobile, which is supposed to be coming towards the end of the year, and people can experience like, wow, it's working just like Litecoin, and I'm not divulging this information, and that you can operate. My hope is that people start to just operate on MWeb. Like that's primarily how you should.
Yeah, I think that's
for your like day-to-day cash, right? So like,
yeah,
I got $500, I move it over there, and I spend it as it goes. That should just live in MWeb, and maybe you peg in a little bit every month. And then you're slowly operating. It's going to take time because people have to accept it, right? And so most merchants aren't going to operate on MWeb, but who knows? Maybe, Litecoin card, maybe they're going to be, I use Litecoin card, maybe they'll set up an MWeb node and allow me to operate that way. It's just going to take time. But I'm sure BitRefill will be somebody that'll probably adopt it. I know Cake Wallet, they're talking about MWeb. And if you can buy gift cards inside Cake Wallet using MWeb, that's a pretty killer app,
Yeah, I'll live. I use BitRefill, but if Cake Wallet can do that, I'm leaving BitRefill.
Yeah, I would bet BitRefill.
To Cake Wallet.
BitRefill's been very, in my opinion, they're pretty privacy focused. I'm surprised they've been allowed to operate as long as they have, and to be publicly known, because they're. Again, if we're talking about things there's illicit things going on with cards being bought on BitRefill, but who are we to say? I'm just saying, it's just surprising the government.
No, I support them because they helped me. Well, they
Bit refill. You can buy gift cards. Hang on
Oh.
a second.
with your crypto, yeah. So they when I started using them, they helped me take out some of my make my life better, especially at home, especially with my family and stuff like that. So I support them. I try to tell people to use them and stuff like that. But I use it a lot to buy groceries at the Sam's Club. I just used it at Walmart to buy a hard drive and some sparkling water and some shirts. So I use it a lot. So they're really
All right,
good.
so is it kind of like a crypto digital store or something, online store?
Yeah,
Well, yeah. So like here, Domino's, right? Let's say I'm gonna have pizza tonight, right? I get 15% off and buy Domino's. I go in here. I'm gonna $100 gift card. I'm gonna pay in.
Okay.
Well, here, can I?
Yeah, you change it to LTC.
Litecoin, right? Add to cart.
Now, I'm gonna ask something completely stupid.
No worries, man. Go
Just
ahead.
put an email address, right?
I don't know. Maybe not. Why not just go and use? I guess because Litecoin, you can't use that Domino's, or like I'm just confused at that.
Yeah.
Why
Most of these stores aren't accepting.
Yeah, they're not accepting crypto. Yeah.
They don't accept.
So I only use it. I only use it when
participate in stores that don't accept crypto transactions.
Yeah, correct. So I need
Okay.
to do something like when I don't want to spend none of my fiat or anything where I need to pay the bills and stuff like that.
Let me find, because I did a video for Cake Pay. Cake Pay's pretty cool, man. Like
I
that
used it
to
once.
me,
Cake Pay?
it's so. Hey, let me. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find this or not.
So you guys are educating me right now. I have no ideas about these applications.
Well, so Cake. God damn it! This is gonna take me a second, because I'm trying to think when I posted this. It was a while ago, and I post too much, so for me to find it's gonna take forever. I would say it was like last fall, but essentially in Cake Pay, inside the wallet, it's almost like you swipe to the right and it brings up a bunch of cards. Then you get discounts. All of them, you get like 2-3% off at most places.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, you just I can't find it, but you just type in. So like I went to, I think it was AutoZone or something. I had to buy some windshield wipers. It was like $52.37. So you just type in $52.37, like an exact gift card, and they scan it. It settles in like a second because your money's in your wallet.
No way.
You know that?
Okay.
And they scan it as a gift card. So AutoZone's just getting USD. I mean, there's a conversion obviously going on. But yeah, it's a way to spend your crypto. What's nice about Cake Wallet is they have to give your Apple ID. That's what I've learned. They've tried to keep that away, but Apple kind of made them essentially, because they're transacting money, there had to be something there. So it probably can be tied, but you could create a random Gmail Apple account if you wanted.
Okay.
And
the
way to spend your crypto in a easy way, man. And you get discounts.
I use the crypto.com card. That's how I do it.
Ah, okay.
I've never used it.
I'll just go around and I'll go everywhere with my crypto.com card, and then I can just exchange it that way. And then use my card, like a debit card, everywhere I go and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I have the Litecoin card. So Litecoin is like you deposit Litecoin in the Lite wallet, right? So like, and you can keep money in your Lite wallet, which is the Litecoin Foundation wallet. And then when your card runs out, you just, from your Lite wallet, you just deposit into Litecoin card, like straight in the app.
Okay. Nice.
But again, that's, it starts getting the gray area, because it's, to me, like that's the KYC stuff that isn't ideal.
So that's why I try to avoid that. Yeah. So
but
that's why I use the gift cards.
To me, I do both, right? Like I would like the world to be perfect, but it's not. And I've always been a thought that you got to use it. Again, this goes back to what's going to differentiate Litecoin from other coins. If we are the culture that uses our coins, which is like here, I'll give you some stats. Do you know the whole BitPay statistics? Do you know that at all, Simon?
No, give me that.
Man, you got to get on board, my boy.
I love stats.
Let me pull up here. So they launched Litecoin. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. They launched Litecoin on their they were like holdouts for a long time. They were kind of maximalist. They didn't like Litecoin.
Yeah.
But it launched in, I don't know if they don't have the whole one, but this is 6 months ago. But within like a year, this is about a year after they launched Litecoin. Litecoin is 25% of payments compared to 46 for Bitcoin. It's like way ahead of Ethereum or BCH or Dogecoin, right? And if you look at the two together, like even if we look at, again, because I think Doge is, to me, it's another form of a Litecoin in a way. So you got,
I agree.
So in this month, 27 and 9, I mean, 30, more than a third of payments are consistently coming from Doge and Litecoin. And so that what I think that means is like, if I'm running a business and I don't have all the time in the world to study all these cryptos, well, what does everybody accept, right? What gets used? Like, why would I accept, because on there they were like, yeah, why would I accept DAI? Why do I need a stable coin if nobody spends it? Or Shiba Inu if it's like no transactions? So I'll just stick to the top 5. So keeping Litecoin in that top 5, it matters, man. It doesn't, it seems like cosplay in a way, right? Like I don't have to use my crypto, but if it's something I believe in, and yeah, maybe I bought it at 100 and I'm spending it 90, or there's some sort of weird fee that's going on. Like if it's something that's important to me, then I should be willing to lose a couple percentage points here.
Yeah, I agree the same. Like don't suffer just because you're losing a little bit of money and trying to wait till it goes up. I mean,
yeah, people come in and go, well, I'm down. I'm not going to sell it now. It's like, well, but you can go and turn around and buy it. It's not like, yes, it's you're churning like unnecessarily, but I think it has more of an impact and it's more of a benefit to the coin long term. Because again, those stats, I mean, if you look at like, I don't have the full stats here, but yeah, I mean, BCH is like under 3%. And I know, yeah, the stable coins were surprisingly low, but they accepted like SHIB and they accepted Ape coin. And those coins are like 0.1% of their transactions. So you wouldn't even bother if you owned a business. You wouldn't even bother trying to adopt those coins. So that's something.
I've been a little bit reluctant to use my Litecoin yet. Like I want to transact with it. I mean, I can't say that. I mean, I get some mining equipment with it. Like I'll buy some more mining equipment with it and things like that, or transact with other people, or like I'll send stuff to like my brothers or my kids, so I can teach them about blockchain and crypto. And we all have a SafePal wallet, so after they
what
do
kind
the
of wallet?
SafePal, the S1 hardware wallet.
Oh, I don't know that I've seen that one.
Yeah, I was actually gonna grab it, but it was downstairs. I didn't want to.
Is that the one from the foundation? Does the foundation sell that one?
It's not on the list yet. But they have. I think they had like Treasure or Keycoin or something like that. But basically, it's just a hardware wallet. Actually, you know what? Let me just go get it.
Yeah, go grab it. Because I feel like this was one that they had.
Underground, I think you have to change the comment where you put tonight for the tournament. It's tomorrow.
Oh, did I say tonight?
Yeah.
Maybe I can delete it.
I'm gonna give shout outs to the people who are how many viewers we got? We got John, we got Sylvian, we got Litecoin Tech Support, we got Robot, we got the Foundation, we got some guy named Badik, myself. He likes MWeb. We all like MWeb. Hopefully we get in the wallet. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for visiting Underground's channel. We appreciate it.
I don't know.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
No, see, I didn't want to highlight it. What the shit?
So,
I don't know what I'm doing.
right.
Poker is tomorrow morning at 12:30. I guess visit. Well, Chief, give me your handle. What's your handle?
Chief Litecoin.
Yeah. Okay, hang on.
I'm doing it.
No, I want to look at this. This SafePal. Hang on a second.
So, because I have the ledger. Where's my ledger?
Yeah, here, check this out. So on the Litecoin Foundation site, it has them for sale. I knew that sounded familiar.
Do they have it? I
Yeah,
I hope they added it. It wasn't there. I didn't see it before.
This one right here, right?
Is that this? Click on that one.
Oh, I've seen that one before. I've never bought. I've always wanted to buy it, but
Anyway, click on it. Right.
I think that's the SafePal, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. That's it. That's this one. Yeah, the SafePal S1.
I don't know if they're
So,
available. I don't know if it doesn't look like you can buy it though for some reason.
so I am an affiliate. I am an affiliate partner of them. That's just FYI, so people don't get at me. Whatever if they come to me for anything. Um, the reason why I like this one, all right, versus where's my ledger? Um, the reason why I like this one is because I just do. I want to give you guys an elaborate reason, but I just found myself going to this one versus the ledger. The ledger with the buttons, it's just small. I just I'm
It's
like,
more
why
convenient.
did they make it so difficult? I don't know. It was just I just didn't like it for some reason. It wasn't user friendly to me, the ledger. For anyone that's new, these are hardware wallets, right? Hardware wallets secure your private key. Okay, these secure your private key. What does that even mean? That is like your account number for your checkings account, right? So when your checkings account, you need your account number and your routing number to send people money for people to send money to you, right? So in blockchain and cryptocurrency, you have your private key and your public key. Okay, so you can say like the public key is kind of like your routing number, and your private key is like the account number, the checking account number, right? You don't ever give your account number to anybody, right? Same thing with crypto and blockchain. You don't give your private key to anyone, right? You secure it with your life. But you don't secure it or store your seed phrase on iCloud. Okay, I'm gonna say this again. Do not store your seed phrase on iCloud or on the internet. Ever, 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 ever. Okay? You store it.
Someone's gonna do it either way.
I know, but I gotta say it. I'm sorry, I have to say it. Okay, this is what you do with it. I'm serious. Okay, you take a pencil and a pen, all right, and you write it down on a piece of paper, or you get it in a notebook like this, and you write it down. Please, 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 do not store it online. If you store it online, someone will hack you and take your money. I'm serious. Okay, someone will take it and take it from you. All right. When you use MetaMask, when you use browser-based wallets, when you use all of these other wallets that store your key online or on when you get your seed phrase, you store it on your computer. If someone has access to that, think they have access to your crypto. All right. One of my mining friends had $14,000 taken from him using the Exodus wallet, keeping the seed phrase on his computer and online. Okay. So please don't ever do that. Get a hardware wallet. That's why everyone, if you haven't seen the stats, all right, Underground's bringing up stats again. I'm bringing up stats again right now. Right.
Yeah.
Hardware wallet sales have been is through the roof right now. All right, about 80% his increase just in the last few months. Hardware wallets. Everyone's buying hardware wallets. Okay, this is where you store your private keys, where you store your crypto. So why do I like SafePal? So every time I transact, right? If I need to send Litecoin to you guys, it's I need to confirm and sign the transaction with this device. So a little QR code comes up on my mobile phone, and I take this and I scan it, and then a little QR code pops up on here.
Got a camera in it.
Scan it, yeah,
Nice.
and I scan it, and then boom. So even if someone takes your stuff, they still need the hardware wallet to finish and complete the transaction. All right, so you need two parts. Okay, so that's why I use the SafePal S1 and I
Is it
store it.
is it like
So
do you have a password for the SafePal though?
yes, you have a password for the SafePal to get on it. It's a little one, so it's cool too because when you turn it on, the numbers are I forget what the technical term of all this, but um it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in
Yeah,
like an
yeah.
order. It's
Treasure's
all
like that.
random.
Yeah,
Yeah,
treasure's
it's
like
all random. Okay, so you have to be, you can't just go type it in. You got to actually pay attention. Like, the one spot may be in the eight spot, or the seven spot might be in the three
right.
spot. Okay, so you got to pay attention. This is important. Like in the beginning of this conversation, we were talking about financial responsibility, right? So why hardware wallets are important? Because we want you guys to slow down when it comes to these transactions. People are getting scammed left and right. They're getting their crypto stolen from them left and right because everybody wants transactions right now, right? Slow down. Make sure you're transacting with the right person or the right business, okay? Make sure it's going to the right address. verify the address, the public address that you are sending things to, because if you send it to the wrong address, I promise you, you're not getting it back. Okay, and there's no 1-800 number to call. Okay,
Yeah.
there's no 1-800 number to call. So
That's true.
1-800 tough shit.
yeah.
What would that
Sorry,
be?
I had to get I had to get serious for a moment right there.
No,
but,
I try to do the same thing. I try to be like, hey, lose your money. Like there's no number.
PUFSHIT.
You lose it.
Looking up what that would be on the I don't know. I'll have to come up with an actual number. That'd be pretty funny. Call this number. You'd hand it out to people when they screw up in crypto. Like, here, if you call these guys, you get your money back. And just some guy, I'm like, you fucking lost, you idiot. So, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, just a
like
troll.
a pre-recording voice, and they get all, that's fucked up. They get all hopeful and shit, and they hear.
Man, imagine if you made like YouTube videos of like the recording or podcast of the audio of people calling in the 1-800 number.
Make them sit on hold for a while. There's some music, and it's all.
I think we got something here, guys. I think we got something here.
That'd be fun.
That's like the date number. You know that, I don't know if you ever heard that. I heard on the radio when they used to girls give out the wrong number. It was like to the radio station, and there was a guy like they didn't want to give their real number to, so they gave you the fake number.
That's a good idea.
Give you the fake number because you were being a creep. Get your ass out.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's funny.
Oh man, that's too good. But yeah, no, SafePal, I do like it. I love hardware wallets, okay, because you gotta it's about you now. It's about you. So
yeah, I've always used the Trezor. I got these at the and I haven't even accessed
I like the Trezor.
the ballet
Trezor's
wallet
good.
at so when I was at the Litecoin Summit.
I use that one.
I have yet to use these yet, but these are pretty cool too, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. I haven't seen those. Well, yeah, those are like those are just the
like
paper wallet QR codes, but on top of it's like a metal. Is that like a metal or just silver?
It's metal. This is just like probably stainless steel or something. But
that would be cool.
What this is like so behind it's kind of like an open dime. So I don't know if you know. So essentially behind this public code, if you tear it, is the private key, and then there's like there's a passphrase. And what's kind of interesting is like they've gone through a lot. There is some trust going on with Ballet Wallet, right? You're trusting that because they've kind of embedded, they have the private keys. They kind of know they're creating the wallets, right?
No.
Another thing with wallets like is, be careful. Like there's a lot of scamming with wallets. So if you buy on Amazon, you might be getting like an aftermarket where someone knows the private keys and they're repackaging and sending it to you, and then they're looking to hack your coins in the future. So buy direct from manufacturers and be very careful. You can generate your own wallets. I mean, you can print your own paper wallets. I don't hate paper wallets. It's just hard to get. It's kind of sometimes hard to get your coins off of there, like particular.
Yeah.
But in general, that's all this is, right? So, but this is like something you could say, hey, I'm going to put 10 Litecoin on here and give it to my kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no tracking a transaction with this, and paper wallets are pretty good for that too. Like you can. You want to pay, because I had somebody who wanted to buy some Litecoin one time and he wanted to just spend cash. He's like, I don't want to sign up for an account. I'm like, all right, I'll move some coins onto a paper wallet. I go take the cash. He just scans it into his Lite wallet, right? He's got no kind of digital footprint for that. And so maybe that was illegal, whatever I did. I don't know. That's
interesting that you say that. I've always I've thought about that because that's what I wrote an ebook on hardware wallets, and the paper wallet portion of it, I was like, are people really transacting that way? Like, where somebody might want to, for example, buy Litecoin from me with cash and not want to actually use it through the ledger. So you're the first time I've heard that story before. Like actual
throwaways, right? It's so you can create it. You don't want to keep the money on there for any extended period of time because it can burn up. It can tear. It's easy to lose, right? So, I just kind of drove over, moved it on there, and it was all. And then when it's done, you just get rid of that paper wallet. It's just it's a throwaway. So I think gift cards, I've always felt like gift cards are a good communication tool for people. Like they understand, okay, I load this thing up, I use it till it's gone, and I throw it away. And that's what I think UTXOs should be seen as, right? Like I put money into it, I spend money out of it, and when it's done, that wallet's gone, that address is gone. It's never to be reused again. And so I think wallets could be kind of seen as the same way. You can reload them if you want, but you don't have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like cards are the most logical step, like RFID cards that you can scan, like tap and pay, like a Litecoin card. I load it up.
That would be pretty cool.
I feel like that's probably the next place it'll go. It's just, acceptance of crypto is going to be really hard. That's the choke point that the government will likely flex on, is like, look, you're not allowed to accept it. And anybody who has a business license running any sort of legitimate legal business is going to go, I don't want to touch that shit with a 10-foot pole. Right. So
you're right. Hold on 2 seconds.
It's been good conversation. I mean, we're 2 hours in. I almost feel like maybe we've had enough, right?
Time flies, yeah.
Because
I gotta go help my little ones downstairs.
Yeah, well, here, I'll do one more thing, because here's, you got to understand, Simon, I'm not a trader. Like, I've done a little bit in the past. I just checked out of that game. So I do a really bad technical analysis every week because I think it's funny, but we'll see what happens. But I think if I had listened to myself, I would probably be good. So I look at, I'm looking at the 3-day. I'm only looking at Litecoin. So, where am I at here? Hang on. There we go. So this is, everyone laughs. I laugh because I look at Bittrex, at least has some tools. We didn't even talk about everything that just went down with USDC. I mean, we really didn't talk about the big impact here. But I've been looking at the 3-day.
You didn't realize how powerful I was ever since I made that announcement. All of a sudden, everything flushed on the 10,000 nodes. No, so I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
So here's what we were looking at 2 weeks ago, I think. I've been looking at the trend lines, the 100, 50, 100, and 200 in the 3-day.
Okay.
And we came all the way down, unbelievably, down to this 100, finally flipped the 200. And we came all the way down and touched it. I mean, we were up here, whatever, last time I was here. And I remember thinking, well, we got to be prepared. It could drop. And sure as shit, it did. But I've been looking at the RSI too, right? So this is, to me, I've just recently started looking at this, that how low this is. Like, you can't go up really if this isn't low. So this coming down actually isn't, I mean, obviously it coincides with the price going down generally, but the last time we were down here in RSI was back in June, right? Back when we're at $40. So now we're at $70 and we're back at this again. So it's like, you kind of have to go up and down. Again, you can laugh at my shit here in a second. This is the pair. So we've stayed above the 100. We've stayed above the 200. We're kind of in a general uptrend still. And as soon as this 200 turns the corner, that's a big deal for me, I think. So hopefully we can bounce back up after this, flush out, and get back up over this 50. All right, US dollars. You guys, are you laughing? Am I horrible?
No, you're doing good. You're doing good.
So same thing happened. Obviously, look what we came right down to the 200s. Pretty incredible, actually, how accurate these things are. Or no, that's the 100.
I mean, the way I look at it with all those moving averages,
So we had this massive drop, because I remember what we were talking, and I was like, well, be prepared. We could get down here. It's not very, I don't like it, but it's realistic. And here we are. So we should I hope we're bouncing off of this. And the other thing is this RSI. Again, look how low we got on the 3-day. It's at 35 or something, right?
It's at 35 right now, the RSI?
Yeah. So again, last time we were this far down, it can go lower. Sadly, it can. And I'm going to peek at the daily. I don't like to change the perception, but look at the daily. That RSI on the daily went so far south to 23. And the last time we were at 23 on the RSI was like, nope, not even here. I think it was COVID, honestly. Or maybe it had been down here. So this is the big dump. 22. That was the Celsius dump, I think. 13th. I guess it was post. Yeah, it was like, yeah. So that was June, mid-June. So that was Celsius at BlockFi, everything.
Yeah,
collapsed.
June 14th. It's like
and that was close. But other than that, we have not been at this level of RSI since, I mean, it was close here, but I think it was COVID, if I'm looking back right. God, I got to go way back.
Yeah, I mean, if we go all the way back, and so I'm looking at my charts, while you're talking, the biggest volume point of contact, or the point of consolidation, if we go back to where you had the lows of June 14th of 2022, right, is the range between $51.52 and $53 there. So that is the strongest level of volume. All right, that's where the area where most of the transactions were happening, and where we have a lot of strong support. Now, when we have downturn like this, what is happening in the market is that we are looking for a new support level to be created, right? So that's what I'm looking for as a trader. I'm looking for a new support level to be created, and I'm looking at where are we getting some volume coming. So I love to use the volume profile as one of my indicators to help me in figuring out, all right, where are people comfortable buying and where are people uncomfortable holding? Okay, so that's what support and resistance is to me. Where are people comfortable buying and where are people uncomfortable holding? So unfortunately, I don't have good news looking at the chart right now. We don't see any big buyers. You don't see volume coming in. The next level of volume that I see is back to that $55 range. Now, can we see a bounce? I wouldn't be surprised if we continue down to the low 60s, high 50s, and found support there before we turn. So be prepared for some more downturn as we continue. The reason, one of the reasons why markets do things like this, right? Why charts do things like this is because they don't like uncertainty. So it's not about inflation, right? It's not about the interest rates or the numbers. It's just about, I need to have a plan, and I can't plan ahead if you guys are going to be inconsistent with the numbers, right? So January and February were positive, February 2nd, or the first week of February essentially, but January started out positive for the stock market and the crypto markets. And then we got, then we turned a little bit, and now March, right? And last week, really the SPY, everything came down. Powell was talking, and he was like, look, the 5.5 that we projected is not it's not good enough. We might see 6.25. Okay. I'm telling you guys right now, we probably may see 6.25.
I think we are
5.5. Okay.
Yeah.
So that being said, everybody that was planning for 5.5 was getting comfortable. But now all of a sudden they were like, whoa, they're inconsistent. My plan is off. I'm risk off then, right? I'm risk off because I can't plan ahead. So that's what I see when I look into the chart right now. People are risk off. They're a little bit nervous. They can't plan ahead. So they're taking their pockets to fill up, right? So they can go ahead, bag up when we start to see some strong support coming in and a new support level. We want this. This is good, all right? This is very good. This allows for other people that weren't in the market to get into the market, all right? It creates volume, it creates momentum, and it creates volatility. This is a positive sign for another leg up to come, okay? So always keep that in mind. When you see these downturns, look at it as an opportunity for other people to get involved. And then, hey, if you want to bag up during it, not financial advice, but you can do what you want to do. But either way, I don't see us turning just yet. Right now, when I look at the charts, I see a little bit more downturn coming. maybe by next week, if I'm back on here again, I should have some better news for you guys. But I keep the charts all open on my computer all the time. So.
Yeah, the X factor to me is like you can't like no chart in the world could predict what COVID would bring, right? There's no predicting these events that unfold and change the landscape, so to speak, right? So like if USDC collapses and we start to see stable coins not respected anymore, and simultaneously we're seeing banks fail where people can't get their US dollars out of their own bank. That brings in a whole new wave of people, right, to come in to look at these tools and go, well, what are you guys doing? Maybe there's something to this, because I've been screwed by this other system enough times that I'm just done. I'm over it, right? And so there may be something with these banks failing. Everyone's freaking out. In my mind, it's like, this is going to have to happen. These two monies, like these are competing free market monies. Ultimately, because crypto can't be controlled by governments, it gets to have equal footing. Like people can opt out of the fiat system.
I mean, they want to, hey, look, government's always going to come crash the party. Okay. They didn't like us having fun already. It was too soon. Okay. It was too soon for the plan. Okay. It's too soon. Okay. So that's what happened. Okay. They came to crash the party. Look, they're saying, guys, stop. Not yet. Okay. Not yet. So when I see all of this and I experience all this, being in the flow of money, trading every day. All right, so that means, like, look, they want people to understand that we need to slow down. They don't plan on curving. So what does that mean for our markets? We're probably not going to see new all-time highs this year. Sorry. Okay. It's probably going to be second quarter of 2024. Going into 2025, you might get to resistance and maybe new all-time highs starting in 2026. Okay. So just be prepared. So that's why I'm like, that's why I started this conversation with, don't come to crypto looking to extract, because if you do, you're just going to be disappointed right now. Okay. Because this is not the time to extract. This is the time to create opportunities, to innovate, to brainstorm, to collaborate, and put your skills to the test. You are a content creator, you are a miner, you're a trader, you're a human, whatever you are. You have a place in blockchain. Show up now. This is the time. You have so much opportunity because everybody's gone, and now whoever's talking in the space, you're gonna get the most attention. I promise you, right now. Okay, so.
Bear market is where
your advantage.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, bear market is where you make yourself, where you prepare yourself to become better than the others, and people don't want to hear that. People want to ride the train when the train's already moving, but getting on the train is really difficult when it's moving fast. When it's moving 100 miles per hour, good luck.
I didn't plan.
You want to buy a weakness, not in strength. Everyone wants to buy your strength, and I'm like, hey guys, when you're buying in strength, I'm getting out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told you.
Okay, I'm getting out.
I'm jumping out the train. Yeah,
I'm selling to you, clowns. To you.
People always call you when shit's like way hyped up, and you're like, I don't know if I should tell you to buy now, because it's like,
it's too late.
300% in the last 3 weeks. Like, well, I can't with a clear conscience be like, hey, now's the time to buy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's where, like, I mean, you start talking about the bad apples are the ones that's like you should be buying constantly. I understand their mindset, and I've certainly gone in probably not at the depths of the bear market, right? Like now would be the time you do say, hey, buy some. I think I got on that.
I mean, look, it comes down to this too, because. So like you just said that, right? Let's just do some numbers real quick. So I know you guys can't see my screen, but I'm gonna do this real quick so I can just come up.
You can share it if you want. Or no, you're not on.
No, it's on my other computer. So right now we're talking about you have an opportunity to potentially make 51% right now. That's your current risk to reward, right? You have an opportunity to make 50%. Okay, that's what I look at. In in whatever time to get to at least previous resistance, okay, we just bucked out at 102. Okay, so if we get down to that 55 area, all right, maybe 45. Okay, don't come at me to get the exact numbers. 40 between 40 to 55%, you can make. That's what I see. I'm not looking to play all-time highs. I'm looking to say where can I get to previous resistance. I know it just ran to 100. I know I just experienced it. I just did it. Okay, it took me, 2.5 months to make whatever my 50%. Some of them a little bit sooner or whatever when I trade. But the thing is, this is what I'm thinking to myself when I'm looking at the chart. All right, where is my opportunity to accumulate more as a trader? Now, for the people that are like pump, buy now, anytime, all right, that only is good for those that are just not participating. All right. If you're not participating, I always say those people, listen to them, buy anytime, okay? Because you should participate. But once you participate and you start learning, and now you want to get into the weeds, into the details of things, that's when you talk to someone like me that knows that understands technicals, all right, that trades this every single day. That's when you can come to me and be like, all right, what's the play? And then I will openly tell you the play. I have no problem sharing my play, So, but at the same time, to be able to receive those rewards, you have to participate in the market. And if you want to, so what does that mean again? To recap full circle, what does that mean again? That means we have to learn about being financially responsible, so we understand how money flows, how crypto flows.
You with that responsible talk again, Jesus.
Hey.
We want to be rich tomorrow, Simon. Simon, we want to be rich tomorrow, not in the long term. Okay?
Yeah. Responsible.
No, I could say maybe by summertime you could probably make like 40%. Okay, why not?
Where else I do think having coming up. I think because I had a buddy who reached out. He's bought a little bit here and there, and he was like, "Hey, I think I'm done." And I'm like, he's not into this stuff, right? And I said, the halving's coming up. If you really feel motivated, if you have to sell, like people have, that happens, right? But the very least, wait and see what happens by June, July. But I don't know in this environment what's going to happen, because this is the first recession crypto's had, the first broad economic recession crypto's experienced.
It feels pretty deep. This one
feels in the U.S.
This one feels worse than 2017
in the U.S. See, you guys are doing it again.
Maybe.
No, I get it, but the reality is, that's where a lot of the money comes from, right?
The world has already,
I know, but you're still talking about Europe, Korea.
The world has already been suffering, though. For real,
that's true.
No,
that's
true. The world has already been suffering.
That's true.
We're just talking about the U.S. right now. Okay,
the
world has already been they've already been in recessions. They've already been there. That's why people in the Philippines were making money off the playing Axie Infinity. Okay, a blockchain game. People, professional, adults, family owners were playing blockchain games to make a living, to buy food for their families. All right, in the Philippines.
I'm trying to play poker so I can make money for my family.
That's what I'm saying. So, it's it's hard. I get it, but we always got to have perspective. We always got to remember to have perspective. And of course, these recessions, we've been in the recession, y'all. Okay. Don't think one is coming. It's already been here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's already been here. So
you make less every single year. Everybody's income has decreased. Even if on
started March 16, 2020.
Yeah.
March 16.
You're right. You know what? It's been almost exactly 3 years, man.
Okay.
I remember that because it was I think St. Patty's Day was the first day that
our
offices were like, all right, no, nobody's coming in. It was St. Patrick's Day,
yeah.
Everybody's getting drunk. Nobody's coming in.
But that's when the most wealthiest people made the most money in their lives.
Yeah, you're right. 25 bucks or whatever.
I went from $500 to 30,000.
Right.
It was crazy. Everyone was making money. Okay. So that wasn't sustainable. It wasn't sustainable.
I didn't see. I back at that time I wasn't smart enough to cash out, so I lost it. I went from like maybe $900 to like I think it was 19,000, 22,000, and I did took a little bit out, but I was like, it's gonna go to the moon. I'm gonna be able to pay the house off and all this stuff. And no, it crashed like a motherfucker. And then shit.
I know.
And then that's what everything I started actually researching and then make a plan. And you were saying that you have the opportunity to make 50% right now. People don't want 50% for some strange reason. I was like, no, 50% is a lot of money, guys.
That's
like,
a lot. What do you mean? Where are you getting 50% on your bread right now? Tell me, please. You,
exactly. When people were investing in Dodge or all this penny
legally,
they were making from 1 cent, 5 cents. They're like, no, it's gonna go more. No, that's a lot of money already. Take it off. Do something. Yeah, they don't want
I'm gonna give you guys I'm gonna give you a little bit of game right here, okay? Just so people have perspective, okay? I'm making 10% a day. That's all I look for.
That's all. Yeah.
If I have $100, I need to be happy making 10. Yeah. If I have $1,000, you have to be happy making 100. If you have $10,000, you need to be happy making 1,000. Okay? It's the 10% rule. You go into the market, you look for 10%. If the market gives us more than 10%, thank you.
Yeah, I believe the same rule. I do this. I believe the same rule.
That's the play. That's what Ray Dalio does. Okay, I found out that I was using Ray Dalio's strategy after. Okay, so when I found out that this was Ray Dalio's one of the biggest strategies that he's made buku money and his books and all this stuff up, I'm like, holy shit. I didn't realize that. But you're right. Everyone is looking for 100%, 200%, 300%. Now, those can happen on multi-day swings, all right? I get those too. But you got to be a little bit professional than that, all right? So let's be realistic, okay? You don't got the chops to make that type of money yet. So, but be happy making your small percentages, and then you'll slowly gain more confidence. You'll slowly get more comfortable, and then you communicate with other people that are doing that. And then next thing you know, you can make the big bucks, all right? Never think that you're supposed to start anything with the answers. And it's real quickly on this one, like, because I knew I struggled with this one heavy. I always was so hard on myself. I'm like, I don't want to ask questions, or I'm supposed to know, and this and that. You're brand new. You don't have confidence. It's okay. You're not supposed to have confidence. Like, stop being ignorant to think that you're supposed to be confident on something that you're starting brand new at. You know? So
you sound like
it's
a dad.
okay.
You sound like a dad.
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
Your kid gets frustrated. Like the first time they try something, you're like, what do you think? You're just gonna just walk in and know how to do everything day one? That's ridiculous. And they get so angry. Why can't I ride my bike? You've never done it before.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Just go right. Oh my God, I just turned into my dad.
And every time he missed one letter, he was going, oh my God, I suck. I can't do this. Like, wait, what? You've only been doing it for 2 minutes. What's going on? I swear to you, every letter he was mistyping, he was throwing a tantrum. I was like, oh my God, calm down. Like, chill. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And I partially blame us because we're so hard on each other. And we're so hard on one another. And, our kids see that. And, the world sees that, and that's a great point. It's like we got to stop being so hard on ourselves, and we got to stop being so hard on each other, because we end up creating that within our kids, and then we don't realize it until we experience it, and we're just like, oh shit, I need to calm down a little bit and not take this
like
forgiveness of yourself. Yeah, like I think that's one of the things, and I need to go on a diet right now. It's all down here, but. Like that's one thing you got to practice when you're doing that. Like you got to go, look, I screwed up. Okay, that's fine. Don't throw everything out with that. I made a mistake and move on in my life. And I think, that's been the weird part about the internet culture is this like scrutinization of perfection. Like if a person isn't perfect from the day they were born to today, they just get scrutinized or dismissed. And it's like, God, they're human beings, dude.
You're right.
And to not look at somebody's totality of their decisions or who they are as a person, or let them adjust or be different. It's like
let them learn.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Everybody, nobody's perfect. I mean, Jesus Christ. That's why, like I said, people come in and it's like, what do you expect them to be, like crypto anarchists, right? Like they're not cypherpunks day one. Like, so they don't understand that what this money. They don't understand what money is. They're not stupid or ignorant or bad people. They're just. I mean, I came in. I heard about it. It takes 6-7 years before you start going, oh, I think I'm starting to grasp what this is.
To this day, we're probably still going, okay, that's what that was.
Yeah, it's like it's a truth machine. That's why I think these things are like these. What Simon, I think you were kind of referring to this earlier. Like what's so different about blockchain and technology is that it's for the first time you're operating in a system that doesn't require trust, that doesn't have this like, wait, I might get screwed here, or who's pulling the strings, or can they manipulate it, or can they not pay me my commission check? No, that can't happen in these systems. And so we're having to reformat the way you view the world. Yes. That it's possible to have permanent, immutable value transferred anywhere in the world 24 hours a day. It's like, it doesn't make sense to us, because the entire world you grew up in does not live on that.
Does not live that way. Correct. And it's tough because
the commercial about the no banks, it's open 24/7 or something like that, and then they stopped the USDC.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It was 2 days before, and then 2 days later they stopped the USDC trading. I was like, okay, this makes no fucking sense. That was funny.
I'm rooting for Coinbase. I honestly am rooting for Coinbase to come out of this okay, because I feel like
they're trying.
They're the one exchange I refer people to, and I go, if you're gonna go buy something, this is the best. I feel like the safest place to do it. But if they're not safe,
we're gonna need a transition path. I mean, we're gonna need a transition level, and the centralized exchanges out there, they'll have their place, and I think they deserve their place, because like I was saying before, I don't see a future where this is taken over, at least within my lifetime. I don't see a future where and fiat doesn't exist anymore, but I do see a future where, they all exist, and you have your option to choose how you want to financially transact with your currency, with your money, and with each other. And another thing for people listening about this space that took me a little bit to understand was that there are no managers, there are no supervisors. There's no one there to give you approval for your idea, and there's no one there to say you should start doing this, okay? If you are in any community, in any protocol, and you have an idea, guess what? Fucking take it to the bank, all right? Not literally to the bank, but run it, do it. Literally, set it up. Be the spokesperson for your idea. That's what blockchain is for. It allows you the opportunity to be heard. It allows you the opportunity to be a leader. All right, blockchain is not about removing leadership. It's about increasing leadership in all of us, the people. That's what this is about. See, everyone's thinking it's about removing leadership. It's not about removing leadership. It's about increasing leadership in all of us and all of the individuals of the world. It's about getting leadership in our mind, in our life, in our families. That's what it is. So, speak up, be part of your community, and reach out to others, ask questions, be interactive, go on Twitter Space. Twitter's popping, okay, right now on Twitter Spaces. People are talking. People are conversing. I mean, join the conversation for real. What are you gonna watch Netflix all day? So, like, come on, be part of the conversation. Yeah, for real. Purposeful conversation, and I think I have to. We'll end on that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It's almost exactly 2.5 hours. This is long, but that's fine. You should be. My Twitter Spaces are longer, so.
We'll clip it up. Clip it up, man.
I know, man. I'm the worst at that. I'm lazy, dude.
I hate clipping stuff. When I do it from like my gaming stuff, and I had to clip, I get lazy. I don't know why. It literally takes 5 minutes, and my brain just shuts off. I have no idea why.
Well, this was my concept of this thing a while ago. I was like, I'd like to do I like that Crypto Kobe, although they broke up, I guess. Him and that Up Only or whatever, the Up Only podcast. they just kind of get together and they just
I
talk
don't hear them anymore.
particular topics, right? Yeah, I think they stopped doing it, but
Okay.
so like that was my initial thought. Like if we could get a consistent crew and go have some sort of agenda and do it here, because the videos to me are just like, I don't know. It's just not the format of, I don't want to sit there and edit and trim and do all the marketing. I'm not good at that stuff. So I need somebody else to do that. And I thought, if I just keep doing this, maybe someone will step up and go, yeah, I'll do it. Cause I'm putting my work in for free and I'm not getting paid.
Yeah, I got some bandwidth. I mean, I don't edit a lot, but I mean, actually I do, but you're right. I can't even say that I like it. I don't like editing the videos, but I do them. And sometimes I go on Fiverr. Sometimes I go on Fiverr and then hire somebody.
What could be helpful too is if somebody was willing to teach us like some shortcuts, right? Someone good at it. Here's program to use. That would be helpful for any content creators.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can definitely do all of that. So I use.
Well, you're cutting out again anyway, and it's been.
He's probably putting a video right
now. We'll have another
way.
Conversation on this, Simon. But
yeah,
it was. I'm assuming you'll come back in a second, but yeah. So tomorrow morning, Litecoin poker, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. I guess we're up to, what are we, 5? Is that we're up to 5?
I have by the way, I have 2 coworkers probably joining too tomorrow. So
also like a few Litecoiners on the line. You can go win some Litecoin.
Well, don't get mad that I might come take everybody's money.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, so Chief is like
I gotta talk shit.
Yeah, that's all right. Wait till we get.
I'm hoping I win, so I don't have to pay out the Litecoin, so I can just keep it in house. But I doubt it.
Do you want me to live stream it?
That would be cool.
Yeah, but I don't know if you
figured out people want to.
Yeah, I just put that little icon over. Remember, I was like able to.
Yeah.
The icon. If my monitor.
I don't think we're gonna. I mean, if it's like 2 tables, then it'll be easier because you can see. But I mean, if it's 1 table, it'll be even better. But we have 10 people right now, so it's for sure gonna be 2 tables.
All right. Well, we'll get more. But I'll see if I can live stream.
Send me the if you guys have a tweet or anything like that, send it to me.
I DM'd you already. I DM'd you, Simon.
Okay. All right. I'll look at it when we get off because I'm using the phone.
Sure. No worries.
All right, guys, take it easy. Oh yeah, and then Twitter space. Do you do a consistent Twitter Spaces, Simon, or no?
Sometimes. I was just asked to co-host with one of the a few NFT communities as well that just reached out to me and asked that as well. So yeah, I'm gonna be on Twitter Space some more. And whether or not we do it together or we host one, or I would rather go on other people's Twitter Spaces and talk versus running my own.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, I'll let you know that we do mine every Wednesday at 9. I do mine.
Okay.
But anybody who wants to start them on other days of the week, I'm all for it. So
cool.
Awesome. Damn, I don't think we even covered the bounties and stuff. That was one I wanted to get into, but about being leaders, like. Indigo decided like he wanted to create this bounty, and I think he kind of sparked a lot of excitement by just making that decision, right? So when you talk about being like, he stepped up and was like, you know what, I want to see this done, and it only took 6 Litecoiners to make it happen. It's not like it takes 50,000 people. It can be a handful of people and one developer, and there's all these tools that are available on Bitcoin that, if they're open source, can be easily moved over to Litecoin. And now it's like, gosh, it's only X amount of dollars. Like 5 Litecoin today is what, $300 maybe? Yeah, $350. Okay, for one person, that's not cheap, but it's a small pay if you think that it's a valuable tool. Yeah. So, all right.
All right.
So,
good seeing you. Good seeing you. Nice meeting you officially, Simon. And
absolutely.
I will be in touch. Have a good week, guys.
All right.
You too. Take care, guys.